How pretty is that? That guy on his way to the ballpark, I'm sure. Coors Field, 20th and Blake. Rockies getting ready for Game 2 against the San Diego Padres. It is Game 6 of this 10-game homestand. The Rockies so far 2-3. Last night they lost to the Padres 3-1. And good evening, everybody. I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies got off to a rousing start in this homestand. They beat the Dodgers twice. Now they've lost 3 straight, and they've struggled in particular with the Padres here at Coors Field over the last couple of years, losing 6 of their last 8 to the Padres here at Coors Field. Well, Jim Tracy has been very frustrated of late, and he spoke about some of those frustrations earlier this afternoon.
Not panicking, but you know something? I personally feel this way. It's not early on April the 1st as far as I'm concerned, when you've spent 6 weeks in spring training and all the prep work you've done. And so if I've been saying that to you guys, I certainly know that 66 games into a season, it's not early.
Well, it is not early as we bring in George Frazier and Jim Tracy. You could hear the frustration in his voice. In fact, they had a lengthy team meeting today around 4 o'clock.
Well, you know, here's the thing. Early's February 16th when you report. It gets really old when it turns April 7th and you start the season. That's when it starts. That's the deal. That's when you're going to play some baseball and play hard baseball. And I think that's something you recognize. Have they played up to where they should be? Absolutely not. You look at the wins, they're 11th right now, 10th in each. And their earned run average at 10th, runs are at 4th. They should have been winning a lot more ball games than they have. That's understandable where they are. The frustration ends tonight, and you go out and start playing some baseball and win games. There's not a player that's not playing hard. There's not a pitcher not trying to pitch hard, and the bullpen doing its job. But it's time to put all those pieces together and win some baseball games.
Well, you saw the ranks there, rather mediocre. The runs have moved up to 4th in the National League, but it hasn't translated to a plus 500 record, and that's what everybody's obviously waiting for.
Well, you know, here's the thing. You win 50 games at Coors Field, it's pretty good. They got to get busy. They got to win a whole bunch of ball games. They've won 15 so far.
Yeah, and they're 3 games below 500. That will not get it done. We'll come back. We'll talk about some of the young guys that are making major contributions the last couple of weeks. Juan Nicasio out onto the playing surface at Coors Field. Beautiful evening for baseball. Rockies and Padres, Game 2. Juan Nicasio will be making his fourth start in the big leagues. That's kind of been the theme of things lately. You have Charlie Blackmon starting again in left field, and you have Chris Nelson starting at second base.
Well, yeah, them at second. You got brothers backing some things up coming out of the bullpen. Yes, it has been, but that's why you have a farm system and develop what you can develop to get to the big leagues. For instances, when guys have failure, you have injuries inside of your situation, you got to have people to fill that, and they're filling it. Now, Nicasio, quite honestly, folks, probably wouldn't even be here right now if it wasn't for injuries. He'd still be in Tulsa pitching, but because of injuries, he's the hottest guy, and he got the opportunity in this one. He's grabbed it and ran with it. You always worry about that third deck syndrome, whether they're going to come in and go, oh, man, there's 3 decks, 4 umpires, a whole lot of people. What am I doing here? He hasn't had any of that in 18 innings pitched so far in those 3 ball games, averaging 6 innings, which is very good for the ball club. He's not gotten blown up in a game yet.
No, and then Chris Nelson and Charlie Blackmon, they've virtually been in there every day. Charlie Blackmon has since he arrived from Colorado Springs. Chris Nelson has started 10 of the last 12 at second base. He's bringing energy. Hey, he's got 6 extra base hits also.
Well, that's the key for me, is what he has been able to do energy-wise. I love watching this kid play the game. He's excited to be here, excited to put on the cleats every day, and that feeds even to the older players, guys that have been around a long time. They like to see that type of play.
Nelson will be in the 2-hole. Charlie Blackmon actually moves up a spot in the lineup. He had been hitting 7th. He will hit 6th this evening. The table set. The Rockies are ready to roll. Colorado, San Diego, come on back to Coors Field with us. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By the Ford Mustang, the old legend, zero compromise thrill machine. Ford Mustang, drive one. By the new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. Another one of those special Colorado summer evenings is number 44, Juan Nicasio, will make his way to the mound. He's a sturdy guy, strong lower body. Nicasio run that fastball up 96, 97 miles an hour as he faces Chris Denorfia to begin the ball game. Chris at .306 with 4 home runs, and the rest of the Padres lineup very similar for Bud Black to yesterday evening's lineup. Jason Bartlett, again, will bat in the 2-hole, and Chase Headley. Ryan Ludwig, red hot, he'll bat 4th. Anthony Rizzo, he's only been in the big leagues for a few days. He'll be in the 5-hole. Cameron Maben, 6th. Last night he batted 7th. He and Hundley just switched spots. And then Alberto Gonzalez and Wade LeBlanc. Well, emergency start.
You look at Nicasio's numbers, 3 starts. He's pitched 18 innings. That's all good. And his last couple have gotten roughed up a little bit. Earned run average 573. That first start he got against the Cardinals. He got an awful lot of run support. But one thing is, this young man is very focused, very good fastball command. He'll try to establish that early in this ball game.
And we're underway. That fastball at 95 missed down and away. San Diego won 3-1 last night. Rockies had done a whole lot of scoring in the 4-game set against LA, but got very little done. In fact, after the rain delay, George, last night, they didn't get a hit.
Yeah, that was really surprising, although that bullpen of the San Diego Padres, very, very good.
That ball in the strike zone, so it's 2-1. 78 degrees. Look out, the bat went flying, and fortunately the ball and the bat hit the screen. That's a first for me. I've never seen that before.
Well, you learn something new every time you go out, right? You see something new all the time.
All right, watch this. Ball, screen, bat, screen.
And camera shaking.
Twice.
Yeah.
Johnny and Speedy running those robos. This ball's well hit right center field. Cargo going back, still going back, and it's gone. Chris Denorfia, a leadoff home run, his 5th of the year. He got it out in that wind tunnel, George, looking at the flags. The ball's traveled well there, really through the course of history here at Coors Field, but tonight in particular, you can see it's a jet stream out there.
Yeah, elevated right now. Elevated fastball, got it up into the air, and Denorfia took advantage of that with a deep fly ball. There was a lot of balls hit last night with that storm coming through that was up. That's a slider. And again, it's up in the strike zone. You can see Chris look back for that ball, Iannetta, versus that outside corner where he wanted it. And at big league level, they will make you pay for mistakes.
Ball 1 on Jason Bartlett.
Just 2nd home run given up for Nicasio in his short big league career.
Bud Black's team, for whatever reason, has hit considerably better on the road.
You know, I want to ask you something.
And you understand that with Petco, but the fact that they're 3rd in the league in hitting, that to me is shocking, because it's not a great offensive ball club.
No, and you look at these things, and I started looking at them, and I'm like, okay, let's see what stolen bases is 3rd in the league. Pretty good. They got one of the 4th hottest hitter since May 11th in Ludwig. He's hit 354. That hurt.
Well,
it's a ribcage shot.
Here, yeah.
Yeah, he's hit 354. Yet their team, I mean, because they've won as many games as they have, the reason why, Drew, quite honestly, the Padres 2nd overall in all of baseball, ERA at 3.15. The relievers lead it. And the team, the National League starters, they're 4th. I mean, you're saying if you hit it all, there's no way they're in last place. They're 8 games out going into tonight, but you start looking at some of those numbers they put out there, and it's just like you said, 3rd in the league in hitting, and yet they can't win ball games. Yeah, this really smarted. This is a heater in, and it's about 95 miles an hour. Bartlett's going to go to first base. You see a fastball come right out of the hand, and because that hand worked to the side, he got some big-time tail on it, and that's a direct rib shot.
Yeah, you don't see that much, George. Usually you get the flap down, it gets an arm where there's some flesh.
Yeah, the only thing the hitter did there, he just trying to raise the arms, and he recognized, let the ball go through, and then I recognized this ball's going to eat me up pretty good. And it did.
Elton checking on Bartlett. Nobody out. Not the beginning Juan Nicasio is looking for. A home run to the Padres bullpen off the bat at Denorfia. And he just dotted Jason Bartlett. Now Chase Headley at the plate. Chase has always enjoyed playing in Colorado because it's a homecoming for him. He's from the Colorado Springs area, Fountain, Fort Carson. Mom and Dad are always here. He said that's going to change, though. His folks are moving to Nashville, Tennessee to be, I guess, a little closer. There goes Bartlett. Ionetta's throw to second is not going to get him.
Yeah, huge jump, too. That's all on Nicasio there, because Ionetta this year has thrown out 23% of would-be base stealers. That's just a giant jump by Bartlett. Bartlett's going to increase now his team leading 11 stolen base, I should say, to tie with 11 stolen bases.
Anyhow, the offseason home for Headley is Knoxville, where he finished his collegiate career at the University of Tennessee. So Mom and Dad moving to Nashville. So not too close, but close enough.
Close enough for Christmas. Don't have to take a flight anymore. By the way, Ismael Rogers making his second start tonight for the Colorado Springs Club in Las Vegas. His last start outstanding. Just 1 run given up, 5 innings, 8 strikeouts for Ismael. He's making that start for the Sky Sox against the 51s in Las Vegas.
That catches his own. It's 2-2. And he strikes out Headley with high heat at 95. That is the first out of the ball game. Bartlett at second base. Ludwig will be coming up as we take a look at the Rockies defensively. Blackman again is in left field. He's doing a very nice job. Carlos Gonzalez in center. Ryan Spilborg's getting to start in right against a left-handed pitcher. Wigginton, Tulowitzki, Nelson, and Helton, and Ionetta behind the plate. Look at Ryan Spilborg's. Seth Smith out in right field most of the time. Ludwig drove in 2 of the 3 runs last night, and he fouls this off. You know, on May 11th, Frazier was hitting .181 with 4 home runs, 15 ribbies. Since then, he's hit .354, 4 more home runs, 25 ribs.
Yeah, that was ugly. The first start out there was not good, but obviously everything is climbing in every category for outfield and the production that he has had this year. Obviously their hottest hitter and strongest RBI guy on their ball club.
Pretty productive offensive player in St. Louis.
Well, a lot of home runs. Kind of came out of nowhere. He couldn't stay healthy early in his career. Had a lot of injuries that really didn't give him the opportunity at the big league level. And then when he got healthy, he had 47 home runs here one year for the St. Louis Cardinals. Drove in over 100 runs.
He's a consummate late bloomer.
Shoot, at 37 home runs and 113 RBIs in 08. Then he moved up to the next year and backed it up with 22 and 97. Then it was on to San Diego after the injury bug hit him that year.
It's always an adjustment. Power hitters going to Petco. Inside move, but that didn't fool Bartlett.
You just got to change your whole stroke to everything when you end up at Petco, because you just never know what you're going to end up getting into at that place.
Here's the 0-1 on the 32-year-old. Bartlett got a huge jump, and Ionetta's not even going to venture to throw. He took that bag standing up. So Nicasio struggled to hold runners on. Gives up another bag to Bartlett. That's now 12 bags.
High leg kick. And with 1 out, they're going to take that gamble with a right-handed bat and their RBI guy up. Last night he came up with a runner to third and 1 out and had a deep fly ball to right field. This is where you have to make the pitch. The 0-2 slider is something he has attempted and not had success with.
Not go heater the way.
Right, you know, for me, get it up into the zone. See, that's not a bad pitch. It's away, it's up. And the biggest difference, folks, quite honestly, AA hitters will chase that fastball. They'll chase a bad breaking ball. Here, they're so selective, particularly the very good hitters. They're so selective, they just don't chase things out of the zone. And they really capitalize when you make a mistake.
Iannetta goes to the outside corner. Here's the 1-2, and he got him on a slider. That a much better slider than we saw, obviously, on the pitch to Denorfia, George. He was down, and it was late.
Yeah, it really was late. He got great extension out to home plate, got his hand on top of the baseball to throw this hard slider. And then watch right here at the very end. This is where you have the dive down and away. That's a nice 8 to 10 inch break down. That's that short 3/4 break slider with good velocity behind it.
And now he'll deal with fellow rookie Anthony Rizzo. 2 outs, Bartlett at third base. The top of the strike zone, strike 1.
Well, last night I thought Rizzo got very aggressive in the zone and went after pitches early.
He was 0 for 3 and a walk last night.
Showing a little more patience with Nicasio. It's obviously should be in the favor of a pitcher coming out of the sun into the shadows. Sun starts to set. It's very difficult. You know, this is running right smack across the middle of the field right now. So it's eye adjustment to the pitch and recognizing the grip, the spin on the baseball.
Here's the 1-1. That's up high, 2-1. Iannetta keeps it around the plate. It's been some big misfires with the fastball, George, here in the first inning from Nicasio.
Well, that's why Chris is going out to have a visit with him right now. And when it's not so much, you know, folks, the pitch can be 96, but if it's a gut shot, it's not worth anything. If a catcher's sitting on the outside corner, he's got to dive back to the inside, or vice versa. You know, it's a matter of rhythm and hitting your spots and really focus, concentrate on where you're going, because when you miss, you're going to get hurt.
Hey, George, on at least 4 fastballs, the first 2 of the ball game, on his glove side, he's missing very badly.
Well, talking about that away from him, and that's the one thing that's very difficult for a lot of guys to get to, is to come inside hard or go away from the right-handers.
Rizzo will be sitting dead red here. And they cross him up, and it's in there for a strike. 3-2. There's the wisdom of Chris Iannetta.
Yeah, just go out and trust me with this. We're going to throw a changeup here. Just throw it like you did down in the bullpen. Don't change a thing with it. Don't try to make it something special.
Put it in Rizzo's mind. Here's the 3-2. He got it. And again, he went off speed with that changeup. He strikes out the side. Denorfia home run. And Bartlett left at third. ball game. So the Rockies behind a run as they come to bat here in the bottom of the first inning. Carlos Gonzalez will lead it off as you see Bob Apodaca visiting with Juan Nicasio and Chris Iannetta. And honestly, I thought Nicasio, George, did an outstanding job after the home run and after he drilled Bartlett.
Yeah, I thought he did too. It worked out to be able to punch out 3 in a row.
Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Rockies. Jim Tracy again will have Cargo up front. That's worked out well over the last week. Chris Nelson hitting .325 in the 2-hole. Todd Helton at .314. Tulowitzki next, and Wigginton. Blackman slides up to the 6th spot, as we alluded to in the open. Ryan Spilborg's next, Chris Iannetta, and Nicasio, who's thrown out a couple of doubles this year. Wade LeBlanc on the hill, and his first pitch is off the plate, ball 1. Cargo 3 for 9 lifetime against LeBlanc. You saw him 3 times last year. He hit a couple of home runs off of him.
Well, an emergency start against the Phillies early this year. He pitched great. 8 innings, 9 hits, 3 runs. He came up with a loss in that ball game, but 3 runs at Philadelphia. That's a pretty good job by the left-hander. He's pitched well at AAA this year, 5-1 in Tucson, where the ball flies. He had an earned run average of .520. He's had 39 starts at the big league level. A year ago, I was kind of surprised he got sent out, to be honest, in spring training. But he didn't pitch well in spring. Drew 0-3, 7-something earned run average, so they sent him down to the minor leagues to refine some things. And
this ball's driven to left field and deep. Ludwig going back, and the wind playing games with him. He adjusts and makes the catch. You know, the wind, George, that aided that home run by Denorfia, I think, hurt that drive.
Well, you look at
Cargo.
Look at left field. The American flag, oh glory, just blowing straight into from left field, but blowing out into right center. He thought the ball was hit hard. Obviously, he broke back on it, and he had to circle the wagons. He's going to the wall thinking it's up against it or out of here. He had to circle back and make a play on the baseball.
And honestly, off the bat, I thought that was over his head also.
Yeah, left-handers in his career, they've hit over 300 on LeBlanc. Cargo tried to take advantage of that early.
Well, he's not going to overpower you. Chris Nelson looks at the fastball at 87.
Second-round draft pick out of Broward Community College after he graduated from Coconut High School. And they took him in the second round. He was a very good touch and feel guy in college. He'd get up to 88, 87 miles an hour, but his out pitch is the changeup. Well, that's just the one start we talked about. It was against the Phillies, 8 innings, 4 walks.
Here's the 2-0.
I got to correct something. I'm on the wrong page. I'm
heading to Alabama.
I'm heading. That's right. Alabama. SEC freshman of the year. I was looking at Matt Latos, actually.
You were just ahead of day.
I was ahead of day. That's right. SEC freshman. He was in the SEC freshman of the year. That's hard to do, boys, in that conference. 2004 national freshman year from Baseball America.
3-1 on Nelson. And this ball is in the air to left center field. And is it Ludwig again? Wow. We've got 2 highlight plays, and we're only 2 outs into the Rockies batting order.
Yeah, I mean, you just write down that the guy flew out to left field, but these haven't been normal plays at all. The ball crushed by Gonzalez, and then this ball in the right center got knocked down again. Cameron Maben was playing over into right center. He wasn't going to get there. Ludwig comes up. Boy, lucky he didn't hurt that wrist either. There are a lot of outfielders, and they dive like this. If the glove hits wrong, everything rolls over versus laying out flat with it. Watch that glove hand when it hits the ground. He's trying to brace to catch, and then just rolled over the top of it.
You saw Maben, George, do what you're talking about. He laid out yesterday, and then he put the hand straight out so he didn't roll up on a wrist. And let's give him another opportunity. You got to be kidding me. How about that inning? You will not see a better inning for a left fielder, period. 3 highlight catches by Ryan Ludwig. Next inning, hit it somewhere else.
running and diving he did, he's probably through for the game.
Yeah, exactly. Alberto Gonzalez, we're not worthy. You got to be kidding me. That was an unbelievable inning by Ryan Ludwig. 1-0 Padres as we go to the top of the second inning and check in with Alana Rizzo. What'd you think of those catches, Rizzo?
Unbelievable. 3 highlight reel catches in the first inning. That's enough for him. I'm done with Ryan Ludwig for the evening. Hopefully offensively they can shut him down.
Well, he's probably out of gas.
Probably, especially here in the Mile High City. Guys, there is still time to send your Rockies to the All-Star game. Now, as of last count yesterday, Tulowitzki was 586,000 votes more than second place in the National League for shortstops. And the Rockies are doing all they can to send the Rocks to the All-Star game in Phoenix on July 12th. Over here in right field, there are 3 teams of 2 people that are able to vote as many times as they want between the first and second innings. Now, you can vote for whoever you want. I'm sure a lot of them are voting for Rockies, of course. And then whoever gets the most wins by the end of the second inning gets a replica, because there's 2 people, gets a replica Gonzalez and Tulowitzki jersey. Now, again, you can vote up to 25 times online at ColoradoRockies.com. There are ballots all over Coors Field. And if you want to get in the action, you can come over here to right field and see if you're picked as one of the 3-person 2 teams over here for sending your guys to the All-Star. I'm pretty sure Tulowitzki is on his way there, guys.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Troy's headed there. And the guy who's second will go also in Jose Reyes.
I want to ask you a question. Did you say yesterday, 4 strikeouts in a row now? Did you say yesterday that Gonzo's 15th?
He was 11th last I saw. He was in the top 15th. He was in the top 15. Dougie, what is he now? Doug saw 13.
See, I don't care what you're doing or where you're going, but how can you not vote the National League Player of the Year higher than that?
Well, you know what?
Pay attention, America.
I'm going to be very serious right now, because based on the first 2 months, there's probably a bunch of guys, at least on the first 2 months, who are more deserving.
Well, you know what? Look at the votes in the first 2 months and see how many weren't deserving to be there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of them that were hitting $190. Hanley Ramirez was one of them.
Well, listen, right now the outfield, I know those guys are all big names, Braun and Holiday and Berkman, and I hope Cargo earns a trip based on this next month, because he's perfectly capable of going off and putting up all-star numbers. He's in the process of it right now. Those 3 guys that are leading right now all deserve to be there. This is a comebacker for Nicasio. And a throw out Nikambi, 2 gone. See, I love the All-Star game in baseball, George, because the other sports, it's a joke. The NBA, it's a joke. I'll leave it at that. The NHL, it's like 13-12. Who wants to be a goaltender in that game? And the Pro Bowl, they should completely do away with.
Yeah, they don't even want to have it anymore.
Baseball is a real deal. And it's become obviously more important when the commissioner added the fact that home field advantage is tied to it. So I believe it shouldn't be on name recognition. It shouldn't be on what you did last year, what you did for several years prior. It should be what you've done in the first half of that year. And you want to see everybody who's deserving go. Here's the 0-2. 1-2. I'd love to see Todd Helton there. I think Todd Helton, even though there's a number of outstanding first basemen in the National League, I think Todd right now, and finish these next couple of weeks strong, deserves to be there.
Howard, Pujols are the 2 guys that jump out at you.
Well, Joey Votto.
And Joey Votto. So you got 3 there. But Helton, what he's done this year for this ball club. Hopefully Bruce Bochy picks him and gives him an opportunity. Just have to wait and see.
2-2 and a weak ground ball to Todd Helton.
He got that in. Nice job.
Yeah, he overmatched the 3 hitters, Maben, Hundley, and Gonzalez in the second. Padres lead. Tulowitzki will lead it off. Home Depot doing more on defense, more saving, more doing. George, you know, we're going to give the early nod to this guy.
Think?
Ryan Ludwig. Folks, if you're late to the party, the first 3 balls of the game off the Rockies' bats were hit in Ludwig's direction, and none of them were routine, and he made terrific catches on all 3.
Well, and I can tell you, you'll see it on the post-game shows, 3 great Pelés. You'll see it later on the highlight reels on other sports shows, and you'll see it in the morning on highlight. And now when they pick the top 10, I'm going to see which one they take. They're not going to be easy.
You know what? Those 3 all may be in there. 1 strike count on Tulowitzki. He was held hitless last night. Average at a solid 270 now. It's heading north just like Cargo's is. It's fought off. Troy remains the 2nd toughest man in the National League to strike out, right behind Placido Polanco of Philadelphia. Here's the 0-2. 1-2. Troy owns a home run against LeBlanc. Wade's a native of Lake Charles, Louisiana, but as George told you, went to school in Tuscaloosa.
Well, I called around today and talked to some scouting directors, cross-checkers that are friends of mine, and said, give me the story out of LeBlanc, 2nd-round draft pick coming out. What was he? He's a great touch and feel college pitcher, threw strikes with 4 pitches, worked ahead, a lot of ground ball outs. He said, you know, a lot of times you think 2nd-round flamethrower and development, but he was a very well polished college pitcher coming out.
You know who was like that? Chris Lee coming out of Arizona State, George.
Well, you know, and again, he struggled a little bit. Well, he took some things and got in trouble. Had to go AAA for a while. But his last couple of outings have been just outstanding. Yeah, that's a jam shot. LeBlanc's going to play it like a Little League game. But he went down, like the other day, I watched him in a minor league game. Leak was 82 to 86 miles an hour, but it was right where he wanted it. He didn't miss with 4 pitches.
And the book on him coming out of Arizona State, where he won a ton of baseball games, was he's going to pitch in the big leagues very quickly. And initially, he never pitched in the minor leagues. Cincinnati brought him right up.
And he pitched well.
And he pitched well. But he's not a guy you go, wow, he's going to be a #1 guy at some point. No, he is who he is, but he was ready to make that transition. Ty Wigginton with 1 out.
Well, he's throwing a lot of innings. Arm showed it. It was a nice loose arm. He wasn't going to get hurt. That part everybody liked. Since May 27th, Wigginton has started to turn it up when the Rockies got rid of Juan Lopez and gave him the 3rd base job. Average 276, 3 home runs, 16 for 58, 8 RBIs to go along with it. You know, when you hit behind Helton and Tulowitzki and sometimes Gonzalez over that period of time, there's men on base. There wasn't a whole lot left to drive in, so he's done a nice job in that position.
Two 2-0 on Wigginton. That's in there. Home plate umpires Dan Bellino tonight. Tony Randazzo's at first base, Larry Vanover's at 2nd, and Brian Gorman, the crew chief's at 3rd. That's up 3-1.
You know, watching LeBlanc here, you know, he reminds me a little bit of Randy Wolf. Doesn't have the velocity up to 91, but a little bit of Randy Wolf for him. You know, he'll cut the ball under the hands. He sinks away, and he really utilizes that changeup. That ball's crushed.
Yeah, another chance for Ludwig, and he reaches up and makes the grab. That ball was smoked. The Rockies have hit the ball hard against LeBlanc. They don't have a hit yet, but 4 of the 5 hitters have squared him up. Here's our Colorado Lottery replay, first of the evening. Last night, good night for Charlie Blackmon. He's had a lot of those so far. He had a hit to center field, and then another soft liner to center that drove in the Rockies' only run of the night. He also had his 3rd stolen base in as many ball games. 2 people will become millionaires in the July 1st bonus millionaire raffle drawing. Buy your tickets today. Ball 1 on Charlie Blackmon, who faced Wade LeBlanc in AAA this year, and he hit a homer off him.
One of the best compliments you can get made as a player by a manager, Jim Tracy said that about Charlie Blackmon. He said he acts as if he belongs. Huge compliment.
And he's got himself at least 2. Going down to that corner is DeNorfia, and Blackmon will stop at second with 2 outs. And for Charlie Blackmon, that is his first career extra base hit. 7 singles, now a double.
I left the ball on the inner half of the plate to Charlie, and he's got that swing. That ball comes to the inside part of the plate. He's going to get to it. Boy, hands really nicely inside the baseball. Cleared his lower half to get the head of the bat out, and it has zipped it down the right field line, out of the reach at first base of Rizzo. And then as it runs into that corner, that's where you buy some time if it's not played correctly. He ended up at second base.
So Spilborghs will try to bring home the equalizer with 2 gone in the second. Well, the game, George, can be so misleading. Think about this. I'm just looking at my notations in my scorebook. Carlos Gonzalez, line L7, which means a line drive to the left. Chris Nelson, 7 with a star, the laid out catch by Ludwig. Todd Helton, line drive to left. Tulowitzki popped up. He got tied up. Wigginton, line drive to left. And now Blackmon, a double down the right field line. So it's, LeBlanc has 5 outs and has a chance to get out of the first 2 innings without giving up a run, but the balls have been squared up.
So you're saying he's not fooling anybody?
He's not fooling anybody.
Okay, I thought
that's where I was going. It's kind of a long-winded way of getting there. Hey, safe at second, safe and secure. New York Life
needs to get in the trick bag and find another one. I haven't seen him throw a lot of changeups. There's one there on the outer half, 77. That's the one pitch he really commands well.
And a ground ball to short. Bartlett throws out Spilborghs, and Blackmon's left at second base. As we go to the third, the Padres leading on a DeNorfia home run. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. And by Tri-State Generation and Transmission, providing affordable power while investing in innovation. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Alana Rizzo. Man, that is beautiful. The Royal Gorge Bridge. If you have never gotten there, I suggest you do this summer. It is well worth the drive. Not too far from Canyon City.
I jogged across it.
George, you haven't jogged, as I pointed out many times, since you made your final appearance in '87 with the Twins in the World Series.
Yeah, 4th game of the World Series. Last time I ran hard.
Wade LeBlanc at the hill. Now listen, this guy can swing the bat.
Just 462 in Tucson. That's not bad, is it?
Yeah, 462 down in Tucson in AAA. And last year he hit 295. So in parts of 4 years he's hit 254 overall. That's what I mean. That ball's well struck, and Blackmon slides over and makes the catch. Pretty good inside-out swing there by LeBlanc on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Text Toyota followed by a space, and then your comments on
Toyota talk.
Well, it's Toyota talk, but what are we doing today?
Well, what do you want to do? I gave the question
well,
last
I
night.
was
Do you
thinking,
lock up here or what?
Well, I was thinking about doing this, and it's a little bit premature, but you know what? It's on my mind, so we're going to do
Throw it out there.
Tigers are coming in this weekend. By the way, Verlander, we got to check. Did he give it up? He had a no-hitter through 7, and then he's going to pitch here Sunday. This ball is well hit by Denorfi again, but it's going to stay in the ballpark. 2 outs. Anyhow, designated hitter. It's kind of an annual topic. We're going to let you sound off. Are you in favor of the DH in the American League only? Want to get rid of it entirely in baseball, or perhaps you're maybe among the minority that would like to see it in the National League? That's what you sound off on tonight, with the Tigers coming in a few days.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I want to see those guys hack. I know where Rick Porcello's going on Friday night was a pretty good high school hitter, but that's been a while back.
And I already have Tavistrand, who's our producer tonight, gave us our topic for tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we'll talk about.
Well, first of all, if you show up tomorrow night, you're going to be really late because it's a day game.
Tomorrow afternoon, my bad. So tomorrow we're going to talk about, ask you to sound off on whether you'd like it to flip-flop. So in the National League ballparks, the DH in place because fans don't get to see it, and then in the American League ballparks, no DH. Fouled off, and it's a 1-2 count on Jason Bartlett. Here's the 1-2. Poke to right, long run for Spilborghs. He's not going to get there. He blocks the baseball with his chest, and it's a bloop single for Bartlett. Second hit of the ball game, and that ends a run of 9 straight retired, George. Actually, let me correct that. 8 straight retired by Nicasio.
On 4 of those by a strikeout. That was on a 1-2 slider that he threw, and he just kind of left it up in his zone. Bartlett just poked it out there.
Windshield issues, call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. Chase Headley, one of the Padres who struck out. Bartlett bluffed going. Iannetta came up firing. 0-1. Bartlett stole 2 bases after being hit in the ribs in the first inning. Nicasio left him at third, though, by striking out Headley and Ludwig.
Good time for a pitch
Rizzo.
out. Good time for a pitch out. See if he goes here. He's leaning. Tommy Runnels runs the running game for the Rockies and its catching staff, and watch picks when you might want to put on a hit and run. Picks to first. You see, when he takes his lead, he puts a lot of pressure on his right knee, the lead knee. Look at Tommy giving signs out to Chris Iannetta. Takes that lead out. He'll put a hand down it. Big step back on a snap throw by Nicasio.
Bartlett's hit 9 of his last 10. 2-out single. There he goes, and this is going to be dropped into left center field. And Bartlett's going to go first to third.
I'm not sure why Bartlett. Why'd he stop at second? There's 2 outs. He slowed down at second base.
Can't answer that, George. You'll have to ask him after the ball game.
Chase Headley right here. Watch Bartlett's going down into second base, and he kind of breaks stride and then kind of jogs into it. And guess what? They catch the baseball. Maybe slowing down, thinking he was on it closer than that. Has his head down as he's running. Picked it back up, gets into scoring position at third base.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is he wanted to make sure it wasn't one of those situations where if he kept going, he's going to get gunned down at third. Ryan Ludwig with runners on the corners.
1-2 slider. He had no chance of hitting.
You know, both of those hits were flares, wedge shots.
You know, this is where you kind of separate yourself as a pitcher, that you're able to cover up those 2 bloops, just like covering up an error by one of your fielders. Pick him up. Now pick yourself up. Go right at Ryan Ludwig.
Ball 1. Ludwig has always hit the ball well at Coors Field. .382 career average here.
You know, one thing that their pitching staff has done a tremendous job, and the Rockies also, is with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, and they've got for a runner in scoring position now. The Padres lead it. They average 181. The Rockies are 5th at 209. Pretty good number to have with runners in scoring position and 2 outs in the National League.
Well, one of the reasons Nicasio through 3 starts has a 3.5 ERA, which is very fine. Despite giving up more hits than innings pitched, he's been able to get the big out. He needs to do that here in a 1-run game. Juan being very deliberate. 2-1 on Ludwig.
Headley 7 stolen bases. Always like to watch the third base coach. If they put a steal on for Headley to go, is he going to get in a rundown? He doesn't go anywhere. Swing and a miss on a fastball at 94. He missed with 2 straight sliders, a called fastball, and then now this fastball away at 94.
Let's see if with the 2-2 count, the Padres try to play a game here. You have good speed on the third base end of this deal also.
Now the sign from Tommy Runnels is, do we throw through? Do you cut it off? Do you fake a throw to second, throw to third, or do you just hold the baseball and allow the runner to go?
Chris has a sign from T.R. Two, ball 3, 3-2.
Fastball cut a lot. That didn't stay on the corner. That ball sailed away from Chris.
Obviously, Headley will be moving here. You go slider again. He struck him out with that, George.
Yeah, and the thing is, don't try to overthrow it. Just allow your natural arm action to work it. Now, the one pitch he went to and got the guys out on was a changeup. But for whatever reason, a lot of guys don't want to throw the circles change or the straight change to right on right, meaning right-handed pitcher, right-handed batter. I never understood that so much. But they'll throw it in, throw it to a left-hander, and he did it twice in a row and got a strikeout of Anthony Rizzo.
Here's the 3-2 to Ludwig. He got him on a changeup. You called it, and he fans Ryan Ludwig for the second time in the game, this time with 2 men on. That is strikeout number 5, already a new career high for Juan Nicasio. Chris Denorfia home run, leading off the ball game. Chris Iannetta takes ball 1 from Wade LeBlanc.
Well, I got a few things I want to talk about. Chris Iannetta, a lot of people look hitting in the 8-hole, what he's done there. The on-base percentage, awesome. Obviously, the walks are really good, but some numbers that may shock you. The leading RBI man in the National League that hits in the 8-hole, Chris Iannetta, with 24. Now, among National League catchers, Chris Iannetta, RBI leaders, is number 3. Who's he behind? Brian McCann, who hits 4th for the Atlanta Braves. He's behind Miguel Montero, who hits 5th for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And then it's Chris Iannetta with 25.
He's 5th.
He's also, he's also 2nd in home runs. The leader, McCann, with 9. He and Barajas each have 8. So the offensive numbers, his average, sitting at 232. But all the other statistics for Chris Iannetta, outstanding.
And his number 1 priority, catching, has been terrific.
Well, how terrific has it been? I'll tell you, folks, he's number 1 in the National League amongst, in fielding percentage among catchers. He's number 1. Barajas is number 2. And I can't read any of Doug's writing, so I don't know who 3 and 4 are.
Here, I can decipher it.
Buck, I guess, is that Buck number 3? You don't
Fans,
know.
remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 for your Rockies Tacos special. Yeah, it would be John Buck of Florida and then Carlos Ruiz of Philadelphia. I've been with Doug
the
a
two
long
New
time.
Yorkers.
Yeah, we speak the same language. Doug, give me some. How about that? I read your writing. Here's the 1-0 on Nicasio. Has a couple of doubles this year. 2 for 7. Rockies just 15 and 18 at home. I'll tell you something else that's disturbing early on. Inside the division, George, the Rockies are 15 and 21. That's the worst interdivisional record of any team in the West. The Padres have the 2nd best record inside the division to the Giants. Giants are 18 and 10. Padres are over 500.
Well, Padres 11 and 9, so they haven't played at the same number of ball games as everybody else.
Nicasio is retired. Take a look at our McDonald's Big Mac Smack on Sunday. Carlos Gonzalez smacked a high fastball over the center field wall. He has plenty of room to spare. Was picked off a Dodger. Text Mick D to 720-720 and get a free Egg McMuffin or Big Mac with the purchase of any drink valid at participating McDonald's. Rockies have one hit, a 2-out double by Charlie Blackmon in the second. Cargo takes a strike. Carlos roped the ball to deep left field his first time up. The wind held it up, and Ludwig ended up making a fine catch. One of 3 he made in that first inning. Here's the 0-1. And this ball is hit well, but right at the center fielder Maben. A lot of hard outs in this ball game. Soon they will drop, we assume. 1-0 Padres. Scoring games, at least so far. Padres again won last night 3-1. They've won 6 of their last 8 at Coors Field. Geico quote of the day. This is funny. Orlando Hudson, who's never lacking for conversation. He said to Anthony Bass, making his major league debut last night, he said, hey, no problem. You just got a bunch of 300 hitters over there. One of them's a career 360 hitter. That's all. You'll be fine.
Well, Orlando Hudson came in today, high-fived his manager, Bud Black, and Bud said so impressed with his early workout today about 1:30. I watched him run up first. He did a first and third. He did a home first. Everything was good, and he's going out for 10 at-bats left tonight to try to go play 2 ball games, be back here and be activated. That's going to be an offensive punch and leader for their ball club.
Juan Nicasio set to face Anthony Rizzo. Now, Bass was sent back to San Antonio in the Texas League after winning yesterday. Line drive right at Spilgridge. Well hit. 1 gone. So that was telling. Dustin Mosley, obviously, George, not that far away. So he was not placed on the disabled list as many thought would occur.
They did a lot of shuffling yesterday. With their roster, yeah, with everybody injured to bring back Maben.
They lost Harang to a foot injury, and Mosley with that shoulder strain at the plate.
Hey, don't forget, Drew and I have talked about it today, but the Tigers are coming into town to start interleague play the June 17th through the 19th, Friday, Saturday, and it's Father's Day on Sunday. So grab Dad, head out to the yard and watch some baseball. Go by all the different outlets to pick them up. King Supers, the Dugout Stores, Coors Field, 1-800-388-ROCK. Or go to ColoradoRockies.com.
That's down the left field line. Maben past a diving Wigginton. Blackmon will get the baseball. It'll be a double with 1 out for Cameron Maben.
No chance at all for Ty Wigginton at third base unless this ball's hit right at him, because it's a scorcher right down the line. Fastball, one pitch that Cameron Maben could do damage to, and he does it here. He shot this ball right by Ty Wigington playing even with the bag to honor the speed of Maben. This ball gets down into that corner. I thought played real well by Charlie. Caught it a hop off of the wall and then made the strong throw in.
Ball one on Nick Hundley. Well, bad news for the Yankees, bad news for Rockies fans, bad news for us, because the Rockies, when they go to New York to face the Yankees, are not going to see one of the great players of this generation. Derek Jeter, with a calf injury, has been placed on the disabled list. That just the second time in his career.
Tough, because six hits shy of 3,000, so I was kind of hoping he'd go 0 for whatever, need one hit, you know, when he got there, so you could witness it.
Yeah.
And see him get that 3,000 hit.
Let me say it's the 5th time on the DL, but it's the first time in quite a while for Jeter to go on the DL, and last time being 2003, so 8 years ago. And of course, Alana Rizzo, her favorite player.
We'll have more time now for the interview with Alana.
That's exactly right. I'm actually trying to effort an interview with Troy Tulowitzki and Derek Jeter. Obviously, Derek Jeter was Troy Tulowitzki's idol. That's why why Tulo wears Derek's number 2, and trying to get something set up with those two guys. And it's unfortunate. It would have been neat if we could have witnessed history with Derek Jeter getting hit 3,000. Not that I want him to hit it against us. As long as the Rockies win the game, that would have been a cool situation. And it's weird because when I found out that the Rockies were coming and were going to play the Yankees, I was thinking, I said, I just hope that nothing happens to him. I hope he re-signs a contract, and I hope that he doesn't go on the DL. So I think I jinxed him. And now I'm gonna miss Jeets on the field, but hopefully we'll be able to interview him out there in New York.
So you're using the Tulowitzki angle to get the interview?
Of course.
Because you're scared
Whatever
to go out.
I have to do. It's no secret I'm a big Derek Jeter fan, so whatever I have to do. But to get those two together, I think would be really great. Two unbelievable players in that position, and a guy that our own shortstop looks up to and, kind of emulates his game after would be pretty cool. So since he's on the DL, he has more time. Maybe we can do it in Central Park instead of at Yankee Stadium. I'm totally dreaming, obviously.
Yeah.
Come on, you were a Yankee.
Well, I know. Absolutely. I understand. I understand. Where are you hanging out at? You look like a little breeze in your hair watching the game.
I'm having a hair malfunction.
Or a hot dog? No, you have a little hot dog. Oh, you're up there. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
I'm waiting till the bottom of the 4th.
Here's the 1-2, and Nick Hundley is gone. That is strikeout number 6. Alon, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to move on to other topics here. Hair and, Jeter. It's a tough night. Jeter's on the DL, and the hair's not working out. I don't have that issue, George, the hair issue.
Used to. About 25 years ago you had it.
I was watching something the other day. They rolled out something from like 1880, Helton and
long hair.
Peyton Manning.
Long hair.
I was sitting there conducting an interview, George, with a lot more hair than I have now. That's high. Ball 1. Alberto Gonzalez hit a chopper to Helton his first time up. The Rockies have run into history. I'm just thinking back the last few years. They were in San Francisco. Young Kim was on the mound when Barry Bonds hit his 715th to straightaway center field at AT&T. Here's the 1-up. Swung on it.
I tell you personally.
Real quick, Craig Biggio got his 3,000th hit against the Rockies down in Houston.
Well, I feel really fortunate because I got to see the first one was Lou Brock get his 3,000 hit. Winfield his 3,000. Ricky Henderson in San Diego on a blue pit to first base, his 3,000 hit. And then you mentioned Biggio. I've been able to see like 5 of those guys get their 3,000 hit.
Pie Trainer as well, as I recall, George, right?
Missed his, but I saw Ty Cobb and I saw Pete Rose. Actually, at the ballpark today, Pete Rose tied Ty Cobb, and I pulled a fast one on Jim Fry. It's in a safe, folks, so don't get any ideas. I asked Jim Fry.
1-1 fouled off, 1-2 on Gonzalez.
Manager of the Cubs. I said, give me the lineup card. Johnny Oates, the late Johnny Oates. I said, we need a copy of that for the bullpen. He said, no problem. Take it down there with you. So I took it down, but it actually went to the glove box of my car out in the parking lot. 3rd inning. He said, where's the lineup? I said, oh, I'll get it back to you. So he tied it, got the base hit. and I have it framed at home. It's one of my most treasured.
Well, why does that story not surprise me? 1-2 with 2 outs on Gonzalez. At second base, Maben, who doubled. In the air down the right field line. Spilborghs is not going to have room.
Man, you got to kind of stay with that because of what the wind's doing here. You don't know who's going to push it one way or the other. Spilly did a good job of that. Well, Tulsa needed to win today against Northwest Arkansas. They trail in that ball game right now 10-0 after 4 innings. Well, not a good start for them. They're trying to win the first half in the Texas League. And now 10-2 in the bottom of the 5th. I feel pretty honored. I feel pretty lucky, actually. 27 guys with 3,000 hits. I think I've seen 5 of them, witnessed 5 guys get to 3,000 hits.
Dougie raining on my parade. I threw out Pie Trainer. He finished with 2,416 hits. Phrase. You did not see his 3,000th hit.
No.
It never happened.
No. Wasn't because he wasn't trying.
1-2 again on Gonzalez. Top of 4. And this ball to the gap in right center field. Alberto Gonzalez, hitting below 200, has done it again against the Rockies. He's doubled in the second run for the Padres.
Yeah, remember that
2-0.
one. Remember the one he drove in too at Petco on a line drive similar to that in right field. Now let's take a look at this pitch offered by Juan Nicasio. They want the pitch inside. Freeze it. Look how far he missed with this. Ionetta's wanting the ball here. He let the ball get almost 18-inch miss out over the plate. Even though the ball's down in the zone, it's a miss that was costly because it allowed him to go after the baseball and extend his arms and let the velocity of the pitch from Nicasio drive the ball to right field.
Inside on the pitcher, LeBlanc, who lined to left his first time. And a ground ball to second. Chris Nelson has it. In the inning, 2 doubles produce another run. 2-0 San Diego. Alana Rizzo with tonight's Fast Cash Sideline Report. Brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Alana, we interrupt your plotting for this Jeter interview so you can give us another report.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate that very much. Yes, I love Derek Jeter. It is no secret. All right, I want to get back, though, to my other favorite team, the Colorado Rockies. And you know what? Naturally, when the Rockies' offense isn't going well, or really any offense isn't going well, or they're struggling, the blame usually goes to the hitting coach, and that certainly isn't always fair. It's not always necessarily the case. Jim Tracy was asked earlier today if his players, his position players specifically, are connecting with Rockies hitting coach Carney Lansford. Without hesitation, Jim Tracy said absolutely. He said he has not had any stone unturned. He's doing every single thing he can. He said, but the players have to take the information, guys, and do something with it. It doesn't do much good to hear the information and not work towards what he's working with them on. Not suggesting that they're doing that, but Carney Lansford cannot get in the batter's box and swing the bats for the players himself. I'm sure he would like to do that at some point. But, George, I'm sure you can relate to this in terms of pitching coaches. When the pitchers aren't doing well, that's certainly the first person they want to blame is the pitching coach, and that certainly is not fair.
Well, no, it is not fair, Alana. There's a lot of guys out there that turn for the crutch and they make excuses for why they're not having success, but it all comes down to the player. And I think as a manager, you put guys in position of success and hope they continue to have that success, then it's up for them to do it. Now, I understand there's times you feel you're overloaded with information instead of just playing the game, but I think Carney does a good job of just letting them go play.
Off the plate, 2-2 on Chris Nelson. Hey, listen, you know, as you look at the meeting now, Apodaca and Jose Morales with Juan Nicasio, that's making sure that everything that Bob is saying is interpreted properly. No swing, 3-2. Jose Morales acting as an interpreter right now. But going back to Carney Lansford, listen, there are all different ways of delivering a message. Every hitting coach, you know, has certain ideas on how to play part-time psychologist, but guess what? All hitting coaches, ball four. George, they're going to preach the same thing. Stay inside the ball, work to the big part of the ballpark. Nobody's reinventing the wheel when it comes to hitting philosophy.
See, I'm a big guy on confidence and trying to talk to hitters about what they think they're going to see in their at-bat. And I was around Charlie Lyle in New York, and he did that better than anybody I've been around. Billy Williams did a great job of it when he was in the Chicago with the Cubs. He did a tremendous job with it. And I think, you know, you look at Chris Nelson's at bat right there was very good. And you got to be careful with LeBlanc on the mound because he will pick you off. Matter of fact, he has picked off 8 base runners in 2010. That tied him with a lot of pitchers for second most in the major leagues last season. Also tied Jim DeShay's 92 record and Rasmussen's 92 for the most pickoffs in franchise history.
Todd Helton at the plate. Has 3 home runs, 3 of his 9 against left-handed pitching this year. And the reason I mention that is that's his most against lefties since he had 7 against southpaws back in 2004. But just to finish up the thought on Carney, and Alana's exactly right. I mean, coaches can give you all kinds of information. They can't go up there and do it for you. And when push comes to shove, it comes down to the player. You know, Don Baylor's a great hitting coach. Don's a little more, you know, quiet in his approach, and you know, Carney can be a little more demonstrative. Both have had success. They're just different approaches.
And it depends on how your team accepts that approach is the big thing.
Carney played the game, one of the leaders of the Oakland A's. Here's the 1-1 and a good off-speed pitch. It's 1-2.
Threw a big cutter in there at 80 miles an hour. Typically he'll run that 83 to 86. That time he backed off. They gave it the appearance of a pretty good fastball.
Helton hit a bullet to left, sliding catch by Ryan Ludwig in the first inning.
Yeah, Ludwig playing the line again as he did last night. So many teams are pitching away from Todd's power, meaning middle half in, where they know he can still leave the yard. So they pitch away, play away, and that's exactly what Ludwig's doing. And you can see off in the left center side of second base, that's where Cameron May moves. So now they're going to pitch you away, play away, and hope you hit a line drive and somebody makes a great play on it. Sitting up
there goes
way.
Nelson, big jump. Huntley's throw is not going to get him. Chris Nelson with his second stolen base.
Yeah, Hundley going into the ball game 22%, now 7 for 25 in that stolen base category. So with nobody out and a runner at second, scoring position, second stolen base for Mr. Nelson. Big jump off the left-hander. We just talked about his great move and where he finished in 2010 as far as pickoffs. Nelson trying to extend that slide. Read where your shortstop's receiving the baseball. They go to that distance away from him, and that's what Nelson does. Catches it with the open hand so you don't jam the thumb, and it hangs on so he doesn't overslide.
And Todd's going to potentially bring him home with this base hit. Nelson cuts the bag at third. He'll score standing up. 2-1. Todd Helton with his 30th RBI of 2011. And he did it with 2 strikes, something he has done throughout his career.
Well, that pitch trying to go down in a way, and Helton goes out and gets this baseball with a long swing. You can see that pitch well off of the plate, headed well off of the plate. And Todd, the one-hand reach and swing, powered the ball out over the reach of everyone in the right center field. And then the stolen base comes into play here with Chris Nelson, and he scores.
Here's Tulowitzki. He takes a strike. Well, I did a little research on this last night. Todd Helton, who we always say is so comfortable with 2 strikes, George, since he really broke in full-time in '98. He has hit .267 with 2 strikes. It is the best batting average in baseball in that time. 1 point ahead of Ichiro, a couple points ahead of the great Albert Pujols. Former Rocky Juan Pierre's on that list. And amazingly, Orlando Palmeiro, who's now retired, on that list as well. Joe Mauer would be 6. So Todd Helton again coming through with 2 strikes. And then look at slugging percentage. So not just are they throwing out singles, or are they doing damage? Pujols number 1, the retired Bonds number 2. That should read 453, by the way, folks. And then Todd Helton is number 3. So again, he's doing damage with 2 strikes. Most hitters, George, as you well know from your pitching days, well below 200 once they get 2 strikes.
Yeah, there's no question about it to do what that is. Particularly in 1-2 counts versus, 2-2, that type of situation. But with 2 outs and a couple of strikes, Helton, pretty special player.
Now this year, Todd's 12th in the league with 2 strikes at .270. Number 1 right now is Matt Holliday at .304. Number 2, the Cleveland Indians, Victor Martinez at .303. 1-2, drive to left. Ludwig can't catch this one. Kisses off the top of the wall and goes out of play. So it'll be a ground rule double. And now those balls, George, that are getting squared up are finally eluding the outfielders.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Fly ball to right field, and that ball shot up into the stands over the head of Ludwig. He tried to give it a pretty good run, as he did on the first 3 in the first inning. And Tulowitzki coming right out of the hand on the Ultramo. You're going to get a good shot at this 4-seam fastball. Mislocation, hips clear, hands through, and generating a whole bunch of power. Tulowitzki to scorch that ball to left field, much like what Ty Wigington did in his last at bat, a line drive.
Yeah, Wigington couldn't have hit it any harder his first time up. Well, Ryan Ludwig's been busy. See, all that running and diving in the first inning's caught up with them. First inning, he'd have made a circus catch on Tulowitzki. And a line drive base hit. This will bring 2 home and give the Rockies. No, hold on. Tulowitzki got a stop sign. I thought for sure the way he was coming around that bag that he was going to score, but Richie Dower held him up. So it's a 2-2 game on that Wigington single.
Yeah, he hit that ball awful hard. But Todd Helton scoring that run, that is his 1300th career run scored. How about that? 119th all time in the game of baseball. Todd with number 1300. And there, Balsley out for a quick visit to the mound with Wade LeBlanc, first and third, nobody out. And the rookie, Charlie Blackmon, who ripped a double to right field on a ball on the middle half of the plate, his last at bat. Now watch this ball shoot into right field.
Watch Tulowitzki, and he's going to get a stop sign from Richie Dower.
Yeah, ball hit awfully hard. Respect to the arms in the outfield.
Nobody out. 4 straight have reached here in the 4th. Charlie Blackmon, who doubled his first at bat, is coming to the plate. Charlie pulled a double down the right field line, a line drive over the first baseman Anthony Rizzo.
A really tough spot. Look at the sun sitting right in the eyes of a left-handed hitter right now.
On the outside corner for a strike. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. There's the double by Blackmon. Rizzo leaps, can't get it. Blackmon runs exceptionally well. Long strider. 2 people will become millionaires in the July 1st bonus millionaire raffle drawing. Buy your tickets today.
Got that inside breaking ball again.
Here's something interesting, Frage, on Blackmon. He has 28 plate appearances since being called to the big leagues. He has struck out only twice. He hasn't walked.
He's going to swing the bat, and it's going to be contact an awful lot. That's what those 2 stats just tell you. 286 right now for Charlie. Wigington 4 stolen bases on the year. He's yet to be caught. To me, not a time, but you never know. Their middle of their infield is back. Scribner, the right-hander, is warming up in the bullpen for the Padres.
May have been pretty shallow in center field. 2-strike count. LeBlanc, not a guy that gets a lot of strikeouts. He doesn't have any in this ball game. And obviously, with nobody out, you want to get it in play, get that go-ahead run home. Tulowitzki at third, Wigington at first. He walked with it to the outside corner. Good approach. 2-2. Jim Tracy says he acts like he belongs. It's not a cocky thing. It's a confident thing, and it's how he handles himself. He has the respect of his more veteran teammates. Trust me on that. Here's the 2-2. Very short to the baseball. He doesn't take not a huge load, George, with his hands.
It's very short, but it's a long finish. That's what generates the power in the bat. I mean, it's short and quick, but it's also a long finish out front. The only pitch I saw him have trouble with in Tulsa a year ago was the 2-plane breaking ball. In other words, going away from him and down.
Big gap in right center field. 2-2. And that's where this baseball's headed. It'll be cut off by Denorfia. Here comes Tulowitzki with the Rockies' 3rd run. Charlie Blackmon has given Colorado a 3-2 lead. His 3rd career RBI.
And his average up above 300 with the 2 base hits last night and 2 here.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time. The Rockies were hitting balls hard in the first couple of innings. They were finding gloves.
Yeah, here's another cutter trying to break down and away. There's that long swing, much like Helton's totally fooled by the pitch, but the hand-eye contact creates contact to the baseball. You know, good job, Charlie.
Here's Stillborns.
Yep, dumped out in front of Denorfia, and then he got to it so quickly that didn't allow Wigington to advance.
In there for a strike. Spilborg's a ground ball to short his first time.
Well, Bud Black before the game said LeBlanc is one of those guys that will put the ball in play. There's no doubt. Well, he's done just that. Bud Black's gotten off of his seat walking around.
5 straight have reached here. Nobody out in the 4th. Down low. How about Charlie Blackmon, George? 6 for his last 14 at the plate.
Making a statement to Jim Tracy is what he's doing.
Well, Jim Tracy making a statement to him. You know, Seth Smith's had a gorgeous year. He was going to play Spilborgs today. He could have very easily taken the rookie out of the lineup, another lefty. he didn't do that. Foul tip, 1-2.
Part of that you mentioned in the first inning. You answered your own question. He had a home run off LeBlanc in AAA. I'm sure that was noted in Jim Tracy's mind.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Spilborg's out in front on a changeup. That's the first out, and it'll bring Iannetta to the plate. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Not a customer? See a Wells Fargo banker today for details. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Iannetta popped out second on a 3-1 pitch last inning. Seventh man to hit here in the fourth. Strike one. Wigginton, who singled in a run, is at second. Charlie Blackmon, who just singled in a run, is at first. And that's a strike also. Crowd settled in nicely. I'm looking up at the rock pile, George, outfield seats.
Right, beautiful crowd. Start of the game wasn't quite like that. Iannetta's got something in his eye. That's Duggar pop out of that dugout, come out and check it. Hey, one of the first 10,000 to the gates Friday against the Tigers. You're going to receive a Taco Bell We Want Tacos t-shirt. I want one of those.
What do you got there, George?
Hot dog. I want one of those. I really do. I want one of those t-shirts. Will you get me one of those? Oh, you won't be here. We Want Tacos t-shirt. First 10,000. We'll get that. That's on Friday with the Tigers coming to town.
The Rockies 4 runs shy of providing everybody with tacos tonight. Two-strike count on Iannetta. 1-2.
That's that cutter he likes to throw, 88 miles an hour, but he'll cut the fastball and try to throw a little jump to it. Now, one thing he can do, and it's something you got to guard against, same movement on the ball, but about 8 or 9 miles an hour slower. And he'll lower it in the zone to get underneath your hands versus in on your hands.
He gave up one hit in the first 3 innings. 2-2.
One pitch he really relied on through his career, the changeup. That's what he threw there and missed badly to Chris Iannetta. Now take advantage of even the count up to 2-2.
This may be a stay in the game at bat right now for LeBlanc because he has the pitcher next, and if you get Iannetta, obviously 2 outs in the Casio up there, but if he doesn't get Iannetta, almost guarantee that you're going to see the top of the lineup in Gonzalez for the 3rd time. Bud Black may not like that.
Particularly when you can't counter against all the left-handers at the top of the lineup. You've got Lupke, who threw 2 innings last night in the ball game.
And this is fouled off out of play. That was pitch number 34 of the inning, and number 73 of the game for Wade LeBlanc. Rock's own 5 career home runs against LeBlanc. As you look at the pitch count, very good until this inning. 4 of those home runs against LeBlanc have come here at Coors Field. Really close, but a ball. 3-2.
You know, I go back to the leadoff hitter this inning with Chris Nelson on a 3-2 fastball. He threw it on the inner half, but it was up a little bit. And Wade LeBlanc and Hundley both gave the stare down. to Dave Bellino, the home plate umpire, wondering where that pitch was. That's how the inning started with it on a 3-2 count. And a walk to Chris Nelson. Dan Bellino, new guy. You got to get used to his name. He's a probie. Well, never mind. That's USA Today. You don't watch NCIS. I forgot.
You got to catch that with you sometime. Did you ever fake an inside move twice, George, with nobody covering?
I never used it.
So that never. So there's
Didn't
my answer.
Problem.
Runners going, and it's popped up. Everybody's got to get back. Center field, Maben. And tagging is Wigginton, and he'll go to third. Two outs. That'll bring up Nicasio. Well, again, all season long, join us every night for Toyota Talk. Do it again at the post-game show on the Toyota post-game show. Text Toyota followed by space, then your comments to 720-720. Would you like to see the DH abolished? You want to keep it the way it is? And do you think it should flip-flop National League American? Oh, we're going to do that tomorrow. Sound off on the DH. That pitch misses. Ball one with Detroit coming to town.
Looking forward to see Jimmy Leland. Started his managerial career in Evansville and AAA for the Tigers. Known him a long time.
Here's the 1-0, and Nicasio takes it for a strike. He's got a pretty good club.
They have a lot of big power, and everybody's getting healthy.
Good swing, 1-2.
A tough pitch. Curveball 75 miles an hour. Not going to give him a fastball. Somebody saw the video of the ball in San Francisco hit off of the wall and a slicing double to right field.
Tigers, by the way, behind Verlander, who had a no-hitter through 7. He did not finish with a no-hitter. They shut out Cleveland 4-0. They've now won 8 of 11. Tigers are 37-30 in first place by themselves in the Central. Nicasio's gone. Very good inning for the Rockies. The first 3 hitters that came up all scored. The first 5 all reached. 3-2 Colorado. We go to the 5th. In the bottom of the 4th, they now lead 3-2. Hits are even at 5. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question for Tuesday night. Only 5 visiting pitchers have made their major league debut in Colorado. How many of those 5 won their debut? Chris Denorfia lead it off against Juan Nicasio. It'll be the 3rd look for Denorfia against Nicasio, and he hit a home run to right center his first time up, and he drove the ball about 400 feet straight away center field his second time up. Carlos Gonzalez made the catch. Denorfia, Bartlett, and Chase Headley. And that's on the outside corner for a strike.
Team just gave you a lead. Work fast, be aggressive, throw strikes, make them swing the bats.
Two balls and a strike. 5 hits allowed by Nicasio and a hit batter. The guy who hits in the on deck circle, Bartlett. Three and 2. Here's a payoff pitch, and it's poked through the right side. Oh, Nelson comes up with it. The throw to first. Out at first. What a play by Chris Nelson. Pretty good pick by Helton also.
Yeah, getting ready to say that pick on the other end of it was really good. Todd looking back right now because Denorfia tripped over something. Was it on his feet or was it on the bag? Nelson leaning a little bit to that right side when the ball's hit, lays it out, knocks it down, gets to his knees, and then the snap throw over. We'll take another look at this, see if he's safe or out. Well, he hit Helton's ankle right there. Kind of drove. Watch Todd's foot right here, and watch the foot of Denorfia. He's out.
One gone. What a play by Chris Nelson. I thought for sure that was in the right field. Jason Bartlett with a 2-0 count. He's got a hit in 10 of his last 11. What Nelson George impacted the game offensively and defensively. Since being called back to the big leagues, he was up last September.
Nice snag. I love it. What are those hats called with that? Argyle hat? Is that what they're called? Like the socks?
I'm not sure. 2 and 2. And nobody's whispering in my ear, George, so we're on our own here.
When they don't know the answer, that's kind of usually the way it happens to us.
Hey, we have Toyota Talk coming up next inning. Somebody tell us what those hats are called. 2-2, see you later. That's 7 punch-outs now for Nicasio. He's making this look like the Texas League.
Yeah, he's starting to have a little bit of fun. The most he's had in his major league career. He's leading the Texas League in strikeouts. Very determined in this start.
Chase Headley has been a strikeout victim. He's also singled. One and one on Headley. Two and one. Chase, a bright kid. He was the head of his class in high school. He was an academic All-American at Tennessee. 2-1. On the outside corner, it's 2-2. Padres have been busy. This is game 18 in a stretch where they're playing 20 games in 20 days. And a line drive to right for a base hit. He was sitting on that changeup. So a 2-out knock for Headley, and that'll bring up Ludwig, who has been a strikeout victim twice. Hey, we'd like to welcome all our Emory Telecom viewers from Moab, Utah. Boy, I love Moab. Arches National Park right there. Root Sports and the Rockies appreciate your support. Also send us a message on the Root Sports Facebook page. Let us know your favorite place to root for the Rockies. There are many in that mountain bike capital, Moab, Utah. That makes for a great weekend excursion. Do Moab in a little more than 5 hours from downtown Denver, right, Dougie? You've spent a lot of time in Moab. Done a little camping there, a lot of hiking. Fraser, you've done a lot of mountain biking over Moab.
No, I'm more into the climbing part.
You'd make a good rock climber. Exactly.
Hey, Dougie, what's that waterfall in Estes Park? Natural, great big one. It's in the park. No, there's not a lot of them.
You mean Old Faithful and Yellowstone, George?
No. I went up there last year and climbed around on those rocks. That was a little scary. You take the 9-mile trip to the top on the forest road. That was fun.
That's outside. A 3-2 ball game. Giants leading Arizona 1-0 in the third inning down in Phoenix. One and two. Two outs in the fifth inning. Rockies ahead 3-2. See where they work Ludwig here. Quick pick on Headley just in case he was going.
Struck out twice, both times. One had been a slider down and away. The other time was a 3-2 change. I'll give you a peek maybe where Chris is going with this thing. His fastball is shaking off, so now they're going slider, but make sure you put this thing down. Don't throw a frisbee up there. He's done a good job since the first with it.
Casio has the sign. He's ready. 2-2 on Ryan Ludwig. And it's 3-2. Nicasio far more like Rafael Betancourt than Matt Belisle on the mound. He takes his time.
Slow the game down. A lot of young pitchers try to speed it up, and when you speed it up, you get out of rhythm, you get out of your thought process of what you're trying to accomplish. And this is a big pitch on their hottest hitter, 3-2 count. You want to make sure it's the right pitch.
Got him with a heater. Strike 3, 95-mile-an-hour heater. Ludwig, the Padres' hottest hitter, is fanned for the 3rd time in the ball game. 8 punch-outs for Nicasio. We'll check out Wade LeBlanc for the 3rd time in this ball game. Top of the order, Carlos Gonzalez, line drive to left, line drive to center. And he has swung the bat effectively in his career against Wade LeBlanc. Last year he took him deep a couple of times. Look out, kids, in the sandbox. And then he went oppo at Coors Field against LeBlanc. And this one's popped foul out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. I didn't realize this, George. Nicasio 8 strikeouts. The best for a Rockies pitcher this year in a game is 9. De La Rosa back on April 26th. Nobody's reached double figures yet. Good eye by Gonzalez, trying to get him to go fishing. That was one of the big points of Jim Tracy's thoughts on the state of the Rockies. He said, we have chased far too many pitches collectively out of the strike zone.
Well, when you fail, too, a lot of times you get over aggressive. You start to chase because you're pressing to get that the big hit in a ball game. And the results typically aren't good when that starts to happen.
And Jim said that. He said, you know, it's done out of a great deal of want to get something done. This ball's a base hit to right for Cargo on a 3-2 pitch. So the Rockies leading 3-2 have Gonzalez leading off the 5th inning aboard for Chris Nelson. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. Only 5 visiting pitchers all time have made their big league debut in Colorado, amazingly. How many of those 5 won their debut? The managers would try to avoid that. 1, it happened last night. Never happened before. Anthony Bass And Anthony, for all your hard work, congratulations. Back to the Texas League you go.
Well, you know, that's happened to him twice. He got sent up to the PCL to make a start. He won. They sent him back down, and now he gets called to the yard, and he does it at the biggest stage, now sent back down again. One thing it does for Bud Black, it does give him that opportunity. You need somebody, he's there, and then let's see what he does.
Nelly takes a strike. Padres, with all those injuries, they've had 6 different players make their big league debut this year. Nelson walked, stole a base, scored last inning. That hung up there, George, and Nelson read it well. Fouled it back, though.
Scribner was warming up. I don't know if it's the same guy still out there. Doug's got the binoculars on him. Is it Nishke?
Back to LeBlanc for 1, and on to first, double play. 1-6-3 on that double play. And with 2 gone, that'll bring up Helton. Helton the line out, single and an RBI. Strike on Helton. Hitting .481 this year against the Padres. It's inside. Pat Neshek. Side armor getting loose. What'd you call him, Frazier? You made him a philosopher? Did you call him Nietzsche?
No, I said, what'd you say? Neshek? Neshek?
Neshek.
That's what I said.
Side
armor, I know that. He drops down
Nitschke.
and brings it a little bit rough there. He gets not afraid to drop underneath it.
Two balls and 2 strikes on Helton. Rockies 4 games under 500. They've been at this point before. They've never been 5 under. They have no interest in going there. Very close, but it's 3-2.
Here it's knee check.
Thank you.
Dougie went and found out for you.
So it's what we've been calling him, Neshek.
We might call him some other things here in a minute.
3-2 on Helton. And that is ripped up the middle.
That is watch your lips. It's coming right back at you. Todd Helton with his second base hit tonight.
Bud Black's going out. He's got Tulowitzki coming up. If you're a scout, and there's a lot of them in attendance tonight, every night, advanced scouts, just looking at Major League personnel and filing reports, George. What do you think those reports are now on Todd Helton?
A lot different than they were a year ago, and you can see the scout section right there. Johnny Weil of the Rockies right behind all these guys sitting right there.
Big Charlie Kerfeld.
Yeah, Big Charlie sitting right there. There's Charlie. Never mind. Bye, Charlie. That's the advanced scout for the Minnesota Twins. Don't know his name. Sorry. There's Charlie chewing on the ink pen and looking down thinking, all right, where are we going next? He works for Philadelphia.
3-2 Rockies. Pitching change coming up. Starting your child's college invest savings account when they're young helps you to prepare financially for when that day arrives. It only takes 10 minutes to get started at collegeinvest.org. Again, that's collegeinvest.org. Great idea, folks. Pat Neshek's now into the ballgame for Wade LeBlanc. LeBlanc goes 4 2/3. Helton's at first, 2 outs, and Troy Tulowitzki is on his way to the plate.
He's held right-handed batters in his career at a 174 average. That's why this move's made as you work to the middle of this lineup. Tulowitzki and Wigington, 2 right-handers in a row. Has worked scoreless baseball 13 of the 16 outings this season. He was recalled May 17th from Tucson. Struck out a career-high 3 in that outing against the Detroit Tigers.
Tulowitzki just wanted to take a look at that delivery. Okay, it's a little different.
Most innings he's ever worked, inning and 2/3. He's done that twice in his career.
Originally drafted by the Twins back in 2002 in the 6th round, and this is a fly ball to right field. Denorfia waiting. Helton left at first, and we move on to inning number 6. Rockies 3, Padres 2. Ahead is brought to you by E470. Find E470 on Facebook for details on how to win free tolls. Padres will play an afternoon game against the Rockies tomorrow. We're on the air here on Root Sports with the pregame show at 12:30, 1 o'clock. Well, 1:10 first pitch to be precise. Thursday's an off day. It's the Rockies' annual golf outing, and then over the weekend the Tigers are in town. Then it's off to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. George Cleveland still celebrating Miami's loss to Dallas in the NBA Finals.
I wonder why. Was there somebody who played for them that went to Miami?
I'll explain to you after the ball game.
All right, thanks.
Anthony Rizzo against Juan Nicasio here in the top of the 6th inning.
Well, we mentioned
pitch, a changeup for a strike.
Mentioned earlier the Tulsa Ball Club trying to stay in that hunt in the Texas League. They fell behind 12-2, so they did the old who has pitched before routine in the dugout. Warren Schaefer, a utility infielder, said, "Oh, I can go do it." When he did it, he gave up a home run, 4 runs on 4 hits. He does have a minor league ERA now of 36. After 8 innings, they trail in that ball game 16-2.
1-1, and Nicasio's fastball's fouled off. It's 1-2 on Mr. Rizzo.
That reminds me of your game at fantasy camp where you gave up 29 hits and 4 runs. I still haven't figured that out. That's a good job of double plays.
I think it was 31 hits and 2 runs, but who's counting?
It was a championship, man.
1-2 on Rizzo. It's high, 2-2.
By the way, if you haven't signed up yet, you need to, because that was really a great time. That was my first one with the Rockies. Larry Walker Bichette was there. Had a great time. The skipper was there.
That's a blast. Bob Apodaca's there every year.
Yeah.
And next year will be the first at the Rockies' new gorgeous facility in Scottsdale. That's outside 3 and 2.
Yeah, Richie Dower was there also.
We'll have more details as the summer progresses, but Rockies Fantasy Camp next January. You want to be there. No DH, the National League where baseball is played. I'm with you, Dennis, in Westminster. And foul ball. That's off the leg. It's like the Eastern Conference using designated free throw shooters. Shaq never would have gone to L.A. You're right. The American League is checkers. The NL is chess. I love that. That's coming out of Albuquerque tonight. That's well described. Implemented, then we could see Giambino every night. You know what? I understand that, but listen, from a strategy standpoint, there's no comparison. And I love the strategy of how to use a bullpen, how to use a bench, which we see on a nightly basis in the NL. Throw it into the trash heap of bad ideas. Bring back player coaches. Now that would be something, huh, Frazier?
Okay, pick one you want to have come back then.
Donnie Baseball, I'm sure the Dodgers at some point in time to say, you know what?
Well, let's get a little younger.
Donnie,
let's work on a little younger thing here, all right?
And that misses. Nicasio with his first walk of the game. Rizzo leading off the 6th inning in a 1-run game.
Well, it's 97 pitches right now, 60 of those for strikes. Matt Reynolds warming up in the Rockies bullpen. How about Omar Vizquel? That was tossed to me from Doug. He's 40, what, 3, 44? Still playing in White Sox.
Yeah, he's 44. Carry an offensive team and a defensive team. I like that as well. Sam, welcome to Coors Field tomorrow. He's coming for his first ball game. This ball's popped up. Boy, Cameron Maben helping out as long as the Rockies can corral this. Spilborg's coming in, makes the catch. They say helping out in that it's a 1-pitch out. And you know Jim Tracy wants to find a way to get Nicasio through this inning, and then, in a tight game, have your bullpen, pick up 9 outs as opposed to, 10 or 11 outs.
Well, it sure makes life a lot easier when you're able to pull that off. But in a 1-run ball game, things get nasty. That's why he's got Reynolds up to handle the left side of their bench, where you have Hop and Venable, 2 lefties if you get to that point. Pitcher's due up 3 batters from now. You don't want to get there.
Good pitch. I like his focus, George Nicasio. And for me, he's got some of Chacin in him. And Chacin is a very focused young guy. And I see the same thing when you look at the shots of Nicasio on the mound.
I like his mixture of pitches, too, that he is using all of a sudden. Really utilized the changeup. Was not afraid to throw it when he was behind in the count.
0-2 on Nick Hundley. Nick, a comebacker and a strikeout. It is okay for a manager to have to think. Kyle in Westminster. And I'm fine with the American League keeping the DH. They've had it for so long. We're used to it. And it does make for interesting June baseball during interleague play. But I never want to see it in the National League. Here's the 0-2. 1-2. 8 strikeouts in the ball game for Juan Nicasio, a career best. His previous high, 4. That was in his last start. One out. Anthony Rizzo at first. He walked. The crowd at Coors Field on a Tuesday night. Sun setting behind the stadium. Looking for pretty shot. Those couple of clouds in the sky with a hint of orange in them.
A hint? That's beautiful. That's a whole bunch of orange. Isn't that pretty? Look at that.
And it's gorgeous.
Doug said there wasn't a cloud anywhere in Colorado today on the weather when he did the weather at 5:30. High pressure system moving through. There's not a cloud anywhere. We're okay. That whole thing.
Nicasio wanted that pitch.
Yeah, and you know what? Don't show a lot of emotions here, and that's a growing process. You know, when you walk off, shrug the shoulders, look at the umpire, and you know what? Yeah, this is a good pitch. This is a pitcher's pitch, but it doesn't get called a strike. You want it called the next time you throw that pitch.
I'm still waiting for the old get smart, the cone of silence, George, to come down.
Yeah,
have those conversations.
Yeah,
now.
well, you just go out and you just say, keep it together. You know, okay, don't show him up. Don't get after Dan and Bellino and have it get started. You know, as a catcher, as a veteran guy, Ineta needs to go back. Ineta does go back and say, hey, you know what? Young kid on the mound, big emotional moment for him and everything. Didn't mean what he was doing. Let's hang with him. I'll go talk to him. And that way you kind of mend the fence a little bit.
Three and two on Nick Hundley. See if Rizzo's moving here. He's not. Swung on and missed. Boy, that's a huge punch out right there. Number 9 for Nicasio. And it's the second out here in the 6th inning.
Well, now you get that opportunity to face Gonzalez. Another slider here, but really on top of it, as he was on Ludwig's sliders twice. This is flat nasty.
I'm not going to believe this stat. Tracy Ringlesby looked this one up for us. Alberto Gonzalez was at the plate and drove in a run in his last at bat. Padres, George, have scored 10 runs against the Rockies all year, though they've beaten the Rockies more than the Rockies have beaten them. A lot of low scoring games, obviously. 5 of the 10 runs have been driven in by Alberto Gonzalez, who has 13 RBIs all year.
Half of them, you mean? Maybe close to half of the RBIs?
No, he's got half, 5 of 10.
We're talking about his total RBI output. He's got 14 on the season, a third of them against the Rockies. A little more than a third.
Chop foul. 1 and 2. Logan Forsythe's in the on deck circle for Neshek if Gonzalez reaches.
Yeah, another number 1 draft pick out of the University of Arkansas. 2 years in a row. That Forsythe, I think, was number 1. He may have been second round, but it took a kid named Schmidt, left-handed pitcher, that threw 2 innings and had to have Tommy John. He's on his way back.
Here's the 1-2. No, Nicasio is going to step off the back first.
Second round pick. I apologize. I thought he was first round. Logan Forsythe. Big numbers he put up at Arkansas, though. Good player.
In the air to shallow left center. Look out. It's handled by Carlos Gonzalez as both he and Blackman were converging on the baseball. Well done by Nicasio. 1-run lead, Rockies. inning. We always go on the pitching side. We're going to go on the offensive side, because in that 5th inning, the Rockies had 5 straight reach. Nelson, Helt, Tulowitzki, Wigginton, and Blackman, as the Rockies got 3 runs against Wade LeBlanc to take a 3-2 lead. That's brought to you by Excel Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com.
I figure Matt Lindstrom's up for the Rockies right now. You would think the night's over for Juan Nicasio. Pitch count about 108 right now. He's gone through the 6 innings of work here with 9 strikeouts on 6 hits, a couple of runs. That ball smoked.
Yeah, Wigginton smokes it to the gap in left center field. Maben's going to have to chase it down at the wall. And Wigginton has himself a leadoff double.
Yeah, stay hot. That's a ball, 3rd ball he's hit hard in this game tonight. One off of LeBlanc to left, another one in the 4th to pick up an RBI, and a leadoff double here.
Yep, 11 doubles now for Wigginton. Charlie Blackman on his way to the plate. We're on our way to visit with Alana Rizzo again. Hey, Alana.
Hey, guys. Thanks very much. The Rockies are 66 games in the books for the 2011 season. Tonight is game 67, and certainly at 4 games under 500, that's not where they want to be at this point in the year. However, earlier before the ball game, Jim Tracy said, you know what, it's certainly not time to panic. However, now is a wonderful time to get things going.
Today would be a wonderful day to start, where it's only the middle of June, and start plowing right now. Right now. Maybe the latter part of August, and I could sit down in that same chair I was talking about and say, you know something? We have afforded ourselves the luxury of giving Tulo a chance to catch his breath, and or Cargo, and or the wonderful season that Todd Helton is having.
And guys, for me, it's really been the lack of consistency. When the pitching has been on, the offense hasn't been there, and vice versa. What's your thought on why there are 4 games below 500 at this point?
Alana, you're absolutely right. It's a word I've used frequently of late, symmetry. And Jason Giambi was talking about it last night in the clubhouse after the ball game. The Rockies haven't had symmetry this year. You're right. When they've pitched well, they've struggled for weeks on end to score runs. And lately, they've been scoring a boatload of runs, last night aside. And the pitching has been sketchy. I like to see him give the bullpen, who, they've hit some hard times the last few days, give them some breathing room here. Leadoff double by Wigginton. Here's the 0-1 to Blackman. He's going to move the runner. Gonzalez, that's a smart play.
Wow. Well,
that's a really smart play.
Everybody's playing in defensively, and it's right out in front of him. And he just used basically a double play exchange with the ball and the glove. Once he caught it, he charged it. And Charlie Blackman trying to hook the ball to the right side to advance the runner to 3rd. He does that, but it's a hard sinker. Look at him charge this baseball, and then that exchange, as if it was on a double play, charging a ball and having to get rid of it in a hurry.
You almost never see this, George.
And a pinpoint throw right to 3rd base.
You almost never see that. 4-5. When was the last time you wrote that in your book?
Not often.
Well, let's see if Blackman, who has stolen a base in each of the last 3 games, looks to be aggressive here and get a runner back in scoring position with 1 out. Spilborg's at the plate. Ground ball to short and a strikeout. That was against Wade LeBlanc. Outside again, 2-0. 1 out. Ionetta's on deck, and then Nicasio's spot is due up here in the 6th inning. Too early for Giambi, maybe Seth Smith.
Take your shot when you need to take it. If you think if it shows up with guys on base. Left-hander, the Lupke, yesterday went 2 innings. Wonder if he'd doubt that they'd bring him back today. So it gives you that shot. If you take it, you take it. That's one thing Jim Tracy will do. When the shot is presented to build on a game, he'll do it.
And again, we're talking about American League, National League, no DH. That's the beauty of the National League game. The fact that Lupke, the only lefty, pitched last night multiple innings. Jim Tracy knowing he's got the pitcher coming up. Bud Black knows he's going to go to the bench, but he may not be able to counter that left-handed bat. There goes Blackman, swung on and missed, throw to seconds high, and another stolen base for Charlie Blackman. He's got 4 now. Won each of the last 4 ball games.
I want to watch the slide again. It's a huge jump, this underarm delivery, because he sets on that backside so much, and a high, wide throw. And, poor Charlie, I'm glad you didn't break either ankle, to be quite honest with you. Watch this first hit. Bam, bam. And then I'll just sit on the back.
3-2. Inside, ball 4.
Yeah, sinker ball or walking, guys. This ain't good. You're going to work into this thing, and it's going to end up costing you. Hey, the first 10,000 fans tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Get a Prostate Cancer Foundation awareness bracelet tomorrow when you come to the ballpark.
And you always join us tomorrow, George? Joe Torre.
Oh, don't tell Alana that. She'll try talking him to have him talk to Jeter so they could get an interview in Central Park. Oh, there she is. There she is listening. Now she can't talk because she's laughing.
You watch. She's gonna try that angle.
Purely as a professional interview.
Absolutely, you are. But I'm gonna work Torre for you tomorrow.
Yeah, any help I can get would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. Jeter actually should buy you and your husband dinner. Right? Breakfast for Drew and I. And all our families, because I got a lot coming, because I'm playing in the Old Timers game on Sunday. So it could be a big breakfast at Bloom's on Sunday morning.
And Frage, in that Old Timers game that you're participating with at the stadium.
I've already picked
Ken Miller, our executive producer, just let me know this. Now, you didn't know this, so it's a little bit of a surprise. We're pulling out all the stops. We have 11 extra cameras, so we capture every angle of your performance.
Well, that's good. They sent a deal. I said, what position would you like to play? And I said, left out. Perfect, right? I just play left out.
Knowing you, that is what you wrote down.
I'll go out and have a little bit of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. I think it's going to be a great deal for set up, and it's going to be fun, and we'll see a lot of old teammates.
Don't get hurt.
Oh, I'm not going to get hurt.
1 strike pitch to Iannetta.
I can't move fast enough to get hurt anymore. They said, could you play in a position? I was like, you kidding me? You want me to center field, left field? What are you, nuts? Let me look at the deepest parts, and then I'll go to the one that's shallow, and I'll stand out there for you if you want me to. Well, they do have Lupke up. The left-hander's out throwing, so apparently he told Bud Black, I can get you out of an inning if you need it. And that's exactly what it would be here. Their pitchers to lead off the 7th inning. I mentioned all those stats. Ferrari, the right-hander's up also. I mentioned all those stats to you about Chris Iannetta in the 8-hole with the RBIs. Number 1 in RBIs in the 8-hole. 3rd in RBIs for catchers in the National League. 2nd in home runs. Tied for 2nd for home runs in the National League with 8.
One out and 2 on. Rockies up 3-2.
That's all among National League catchers. So Chris having a pretty good year.
Check at the scoreboard. The Yankees look like they're going to beat Texas tonight. Again, Jeter on the disabled list with that calf injury. Verlander went into the 8th inning with a no-hitter in that affair. Way inside. Toronto beats Baltimore 6-5. Tampa ends Boston's 9-game winning streak. They shut them out tonight 4-0. Shields beat Wakefield in that game. That's 3 shutouts.
Wakefield now. Is Wakefield 44 or 45?
I don't know.
Is he the oldest player in the game now, or is it Vizquel?
I think Vizquel's older than him. But don't quote me. Doug will look it up. 2-2. James Shields has 3 shutouts this year. Pujols and Berkman hit home runs in that Cardinal loss to Washington. And Philadelphia, talk about bombs. Philadelphia got a home run from Rollins, his 5th, Utley his 3rd, Howard his 14th, and Dominic Brown, healthy again, hit 2, George, his 3rd and 4th.
Dominic Brown did?
Yeah, good looking kid. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Giants leading Arizona. They're in the 5th now. Top 2 teams right now in the National League West. Giants began the day a half game in front of Arizona. Arizona's won 3 straight. They're 20 and 13 at Chase Field. This ball down the left field line and deep and gone. A one-handed 3-run bomb from Chris Iannetta. And the Rockies have opened this ball game up.
Yeah, we're just bragging on Chris Iannetta and those offensive numbers that he's put up this year out of the 8-hole. They've been amazing. And he's going to add to that total of 28 RBIs. Now ties for the league lead with catchers for Ajas with Los Angeles, 9 each. Yeah, good times for Chris Iannetta and this Rocky ball club. You want to expand the lead, you just did it to 4. Look at this pitch out away from him, slider that spun. He didn't connect all the way away, and then show you the strength of Chris Iannetta getting out front on the pitch and then kind of the one-arm swing and put it and just smoked it out into left field. You think back, folks, you talk about the wind changing. Gonzalez's balls hit a lot harder than that, and it got knocked down. That ball, the wind's changed. It's died down now, and Iannetta just smoked it. Good for Chris Iannetta.
So Eric Young Jr. will pinch hit now if the Rockies got the bomb from Iannetta, and he pops out. That's out number 2 in the 6th inning, and here comes Carlos Gonzalez. 6-2 Rockies. George, you're doing a lot of bragging, as you said, on what Iannetta's done, and for me, he seems to get, even in years past when the average was not what he wanted, he seems to get a lot of big hits, big home runs, you know, late in ball games.
Well, guys
breaking
relax.
ties, go ahead homers.
Guys relax as a pitcher, you know, like, okay, hey, I got through that middle of that nasty lineup I had to face, and then they make a mistake and he's back there licking his chops and just smacking the baseball. Now, let's not forget either, Iannetta brought 9 strikeouts and Juan Nicasio through 6 innings tonight too.
It's 2-0 on Gonzalez. Cargo, a base hit his last time up, a sharp single on a 3-2 pitch. He's now got an 8-game hitting streak. Earlier this year he had a 10-game hitting streak. Here's the 2-0. And that's 3-0. He's such an aggressive hitter, but he's swinging at strikes again. Maybe a byproduct, George, of being in that top spot in the lineup. There's a 3-0 count here. Three and 1.
So who do you interview if you're Alana for the game now?
This game?
Yeah, you got to go Iannetta, don't you?
Right now.
Toyota Tex, let's go. Got any more? Can you throw them up? Who should she interview? Who do you want to hear from at home?
It's not over yet. Gonzalez to first. And Chris Nelson coming up. Chris is 0 for 2 in a walk, and Bud Black's going to have to go get Pat Neshek. And he's going to make a defensive change as well. He's going to double switch. Now down by 4 runs, looking to get a little more length out of his bullpen. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. We can tell you that Chris Iannetta has made Pat Neshek an unhappy guy. Padres 6-2. 2 outs and a man on in the bottom of the 6th inning. Ernesto Frieri will take over. Hey, go inside the war room. Watch as the Rockies make their first-round draft pick on Rockies All Access. Hear from current Rockies players, including Todd Helton, about their draft day memories. It's only on Rockies All Access Thursday night, right here on Root Sports at 6:30 p.m. Good look at the Rockies GM, Dan O'Dowd. And there's Billy Schmidt, who's vice president of scouting. How about Billy, when he joined us the other day to talk about the draft and some of the selections the Rockies made. And today they signed 13 of those selections. There'll be more to follow. He wanted Bill Guyvette, who's assistant general manager for Dan O'Dowd, to come on, but Guyvo is too camera shy, George.
I find that very difficult to understand or believe.
It's just the story I was getting.
Is that what you're getting? Well, you know, Smitty's not a guy that goes out and likes to get in the public eye much. He likes to stay in the background and do the work of what he does, and that's go out and scout a lot of players.
Well, he logs a lot of miles.
By the way, Wakefield's 44.
There's
Vizquel's
Guyvo.
44. Yeah, Guyvo's on now.
Kevin Kahn also, another vice president with the Rockies, in charge of ballpark operations. And that's inside 1-1 on Chris Nelson. As soon as they get word to Guyvo, he'll be texting us.
No, he'll just come in.
Yeah. One and two. Moving on the pitch was Gonzalez. For Jim Tracy, especially in this ballpark, you're going to keep the pedal to the metal.
Beyond a grand slam to tie me, and then I get a little bit more comfortable with a 5-run lead versus 4.
Yeah, you're still talking about the bottom of the 6th inning. And Nelson bounces this one deep in the hole. Headley only got a little piece of it. Cargo trying to go first to third, and he will. See how that one scored. Headley trying to reach out. Third baseman general rule, all you can get. But he couldn't quite get that one. And Nelson is aboard. It's an error on Headley, his 8th of the year.
Now, a lot of topspin, too. And that made it a little more difficult on Headley to get there. That ball gained momentum as it went on. I mean, it's kind of questionable for me, even on the call, but I understand it. Left side of their infield's committed 19 errors this year. In comparison, the Rockies have 8.
Todd 2 for 3 and an RBI in the ball game. The only time they got him out, it took a sliding catch by Ludwig in left. And Frieri misses there, ball 1. Todd came into the ball game with a .532 slugging percentage, 7th in the National League. He's among the top 6 in hitting. He's got such a good outlook. He says, you know what, I don't know what the next at bat's going to bring. I don't know how long I stay healthy. I'm just taking it at bat to at bat and enjoying every moment. Here's the 1-1. 2-1. This man was born to play baseball. Maybe that guy also, but the guy at the plate, number 17. Two and two. You know, as good a football player as he was, George, that was just to pass the time till the spring.
Well, I mean, it's just something to do, you know, until Peyton showed up.
Right. And those two remain good friends. Todd, the starting quarterback, went down with an injury. Peyton took over, and nobody got their job back once Manning took the reins. Now they both have streets named after him in Knoxville.
Well, imagine that. The Mannings have a lot of streets named after them around that area. New Orleans. What are you looking up for? What's up there?
We'll drop some popcorn down. 2-2. 3-2.
Did you order popcorn, Dougie?
Chris
You
Nelson,
like some?
Nelson will be taking off with the pitch. Todd drives that foul out of play. Marv Foley was throwing to Todd Helton's group in batting practice today. And Todd, in his last round in the cage, said, "Marv, throw me middle away here." He wanted to work on driving the ball the other direction. I mean, he is so particular and so precise in his preparation. This is a hard ground ball up the middle, diving stop, and Forsythe throws out Helton. He takes a hit away and a run batted in away from Helton. Nice play by Logan Forsythe, who just took over for Alberto Gonzalez in a double switch. Chris Iannetta, one-handed 3-run home run. Rockies +4 on the scoreboard. The Land Rover legendary performance of the game. Chris Nelson on what was a sure base hit, diving in the hole and throwing out Chris DeNorfia, who can really run. Great play by Chris. Nice pickup by Helton. We just assume that's going to get done. Our Land Rover legendary performance of the game. New pitchers Matt Lindstrom. Logan Forsythe, who came into the double switch, will lead it off. Then DeNorfia and Jason Bartlett. 30th appearance for the hard-throwing righty from Rexburg, Idaho.
See what Forsythe does with his fastball slider combination. There's that hard slider, didn't miss by much.
Inside at 96. Giants now, George, leading 5-0. Matt Cain's on the hill. Giants 18-10 again inside the National League West. That score. Slider, strike 3. Good pitch. It's 10 strikeouts for the Rockies in the game, 9 by Nicasio, and now Lindstrom striking out Forsythe. Let's take a look at our CenturyLink high-speed pitch. LeBlanc, not a hard thrower, touched 90. Nicasio hit 96. Juan's average fastball right at 94 this year. He's on the plus side. Rockies leading 6-2. Denorfia led off the ball game with a home run against Nicasio. I look back at that first inning, George, and that thing could have unraveled quickly on Nicasio. A home run, and then he drilled Jason Bartlett in the ribs. But he, after 2 stolen bases also, keep in mind by Bartlett, he struck out Headley, Ludwig, and Rizzo in succession.
Yeah, pretty good job there, huh? Shut that thing down in a heartbeat. Hey, guys, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here for a while.
Some growth. Sometimes, George, you can, with a young pitcher, you can witness growth inside an inning. You know, we talk about a ball game to ball game, or maybe several starts at a time. That was big time growth in 1 inning.
Well, I think he also has the ability to start feeling comfortable around here, and the reason why is because of Chacin, because of Ubaldo Jimenez, because of Betancourt, because quite honestly, Nicasio's English language is not up to par what those guys are, but they can help him get through a lot of things here in the United States and help him get accustomed to playing in the big leagues and getting that comfort zone of what he's doing.
2-2 on Denorfia.
Emergency hack on a fastball away at 97. You know what, if I threw that hard, I'd probably look up at the board and see how hard it was every time too. A lot of guys that throw hard, they'll throw the pitch and they want to know where the, you know, where the velocity is in the ballpark. Threw it at 97 and he's peaking. I'd peak too. How about you, Sam? Would you peak? No. Sam, I just found out you watch your own replays in your little TV thing up there.
Ball 4, Denorfia to first. Leave Sam alone. He's trying to work.
Doug throw you under the bus? Was that it? Okay.
Bob Apodaca going to take a seat next to Jim Tracy.
Yeah, that's usually not a good thing because he's going down there in case Skip tells him, let's go to this guy or get this guy going. The bullpen's up right now. Brother's the left-hander, getting it loose down there. He's done a marvelous job here with this pitching staff. Bob Apodaca has, through all the injuries, through guys not having success, guys having success.
Bob's such a thoughtful guy, George, and he has a calming influence on all these young arms.
What I like about Bob, he'll get after you when he needs to, but he'll also put his arm around you and tell you what's right, what's wrong. They've been a big league pitching coach in Milwaukee and came over here with Clint. And tell you, and again, this is something that's a testament to Jim Tracy. I mean, he liked what Apodaca did in 09 and brought him back on the staff. He loves the way he relates to these pitchers. That's busted bat. Watch out.
He's going to drop. So Bartlett on for the 3rd time in the ball game, his 2nd hit. I'm going to pass along something, George. You got your wish, and good for Chris Nelson. That ball that glanced off Headley's glove as he was trying to cut it off, moving to his left, has now been changed from E5 to a hit.
Well, when they had the pitching change, Drew put the headset down, sprinted downstairs, talked to him, and then sprinted back up.
You're not supposed to share that.
Oh, okay. Right now, the Rockies like to turn a double play and get out of this inning.
Headley 2 for 3 at the plate. Brad Hopp not in the starting lineup the last couple of days. Bud Black's been running out Denorfia in right. And of course, initially, Brad was playing a ton of first base this year. He just went to right last week when the Rockies were in town in preparation for Anthony Rizzo coming up. They're not going to bring up a young prospect like Rizzo and not play him.
Set him on the ground. Nope, that's right. He's here to swing the bat.
One and one on Headley. And that's a line drive that's going to drop. And now the bases are loaded. And the tying run's going to come up in Ryan Ludwig, who leads the club in home runs with 8. And Bob Apodaca is out of his seat next to Jim Tracy and jogging toward Matt Lindstrom.
And usually what happens, this conversation's buying a little bit of time. Helton with the back slap saying, let's get it done right here. He's got the bases loaded. He's got a 4-run lead, but he's also got their best power hitter up, and Mr. Ludwig. Hey, help send your favorite Rocky, that's right, out to the All-Star game in Phoenix. Vote on ColoradoRockies.com. You can do it 25 times, so get up and do it. Do it right now. Doug's already done it tonight. He'll do it again tomorrow. Do it every day. Tulowitzki leads the shortstops. Love to see Helton maybe get out there and get the opportunity to get going again, get to the All-Star game. ColoradoRockies.com, and you can vote 25 times. Ludwig with the bases loaded is 0 for 2 this year. The Padres with 213 with the bases loaded. Things in favor of Mr. Lindstrom.
Good slider.
Ludwig.
0-1 on Ludwig, who's got the trifecta tonight. He's punched out 3 times.
2 for 6 against Lindstrom in his career. And it's been on the slider that's gotten him.
One out, bases full of Padres, 6-2 Colorado. Another slider and another swing and miss.
I'll tell you, if one thing has been found out tonight, don't throw the fastball, throw a slider and see what you get out of that thing, because right now they've had some difficulty hitting it.
Denorfia walked. He's at third. Bartlett a single. Headley a single. And this is a flare that Nelson's going to get to.
Be interesting if Tracy goes and gets him and brings him in, meaning Rex Brothers, to face Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo and Brothers, I'm sure, have matched up in the PCL against each other, and that's what's going to happen, boys. He's going to go down and get the young lefty and bring him in to face Anthony Rizzo.
One final pitch in the bullpen for Brothers, and he will come into the ball game to face Rizzo. Lindstrom checks out. 6-2 Colorado, 2 gone in the 7th. in Rockies happenings. Text the word alerts to 720-720 to get Rockies updates straight to your phone.
Hey, you still tweeting and everything?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard you talk about that lately.
What do you want to know?
Well, I just didn't know. I didn't know if you're still Facebooking and everything.
About once tonight. I capsulize what happened at the ballpark.
And here's Rex Brothers, the left-hander. 4 ball games. Did give up a couple of those runs. Struck out 3, walked 3 2/3 innings. Mentioned right before going to break, he and Rizzo, I'm sure, have matched up in the PCL. Bases loaded, you come in firing strikes. When you come out of that bullpen, whatever pitch you have that is working, you go with it here. Infield's playing deep on the right side, so if he does pull it, it's going to be really up to Brothers to get over. They get the baseball, help him back on the grass. If he has to go into that hole to get it, you better get there in a hurry if you're Brothers. Win the foot race.
He went slider for a strike. One of the top prospects for San Diego, Anthony Rizzo. One of the top prospects for the Rockies, Rex Brothers. 2 outs in the 7th. One and one. Rizzo a strikeout, a line drive to right, and a walk. Any other time in the big leagues that he came up with the bases loaded, he punched out. Look out. Wow. That's a great job by Iannetta.
Well, you know what? That was a fastball at 95. I think Iannetta was expecting a slider down and away. And folks, if you're a pitcher right now, this is not the conversation you want to have happen. So that's just 4-seam heater right here. Iannetta just dives. I mean, missed by almost 5 feet. And it's full extension for Iannetta to try to even get to the baseball.
You know, in addition, every Rockies fan, you know who else was thrilled he made that catch? Dan Bellino. That was headed right at Dan Bellino's mask. 2-1 on Rizzo. That wide open stance. 2-2. That was a huge pitch. He's got him. What a job by Brothers. He strikes out Anthony Rizzo with the bases loaded in the 7th and preserves a 6-2 Colorado lead. Got him on a hard slider. Time for the Cooney Lexus look back. We begin in the fourth inning. The Rockies trailing 2-0. Todd Helton would drive in a run with a base hit to right center field. Chris Nelson coming around. And then Wigginton with a solid base hit to right center field. Charlie Blackmon would drive in a run. Rockies would get 3 to take a 3-2 lead. Then Chris Iannetta, after a lengthy at bat, hits a home run off Pat Neeshet. And back live, Troy Tulowitzki. Troy with a base hit to right center field as he greets Ernesto Frieri here in the 7th inning.
Well, one guy that's really hit the ball hard all night, too, has been Ty Wigginton. That line shot to left field, first at bat, great play made by Ludwig. We saw enough of that in the first inning. Then the base hit and then the double. So he's got a chance here with Tulowitzki at first base, and you see his average slowly creeping up. It's at 259 now. They started the night at 250.
Tulowitzki a single and a double at first base. As George mentioned, Wigginton a single and a double at the plate. Rockies trying to snap a 3-game skid. Trying to get back to 3-3 on this homestand. Finish strong. 10-game homestand. There goes Tulowitzki. And Huntley's got no chance out. Rockies so much more aggressive here over the last few days on the base pass.
Playing complete ball games. Basically, for me, watching them play, it's the base hits, it's the defense. Pitching's been decent. Now all of a sudden the offense is incorporating the stolen base. Charlie Blackmon, Tulowitzki with stolen bases. Tulowitzki, that's his 6th on the year. Chris Nelson picked up one earlier in the ball game.
Two-0 on Wigginton. Maben shaded toward right center field. And it's 3-0. Blackmon on deck. Rockies have 4 guys with 2 hits each. Helton, Tulowitzki, Wigginton, and Blackmon. And they all hit in the middle of the order. 3, 4, 5, 6 tonight. Ball 4, so Wigginton reaches again. And here comes Blackmon.
You know, Bud Black liked to nurse this thing through where he wouldn't have to use more people into the bullpen. Just telling everybody, you better pay attention out in the middle of the infield. These guys will steal a base. Typically not with Blackmon and a left-hander up, but you got to hold yourself defensively, but you got to be really smart with what you're doing here.
Charlie takes ball 1. Rockies with 11 hits in the ball game now. And here comes Darren Balsley out to the mound. Yeah, it's Balsley.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, second I. Once in a while, Bud Black will come out and deliver a message. Windshield damage, call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com.
Great crowd here at the ballpark on a Tuesday night. How nice is this?
Beautiful. It's a beautiful facility. And the weather in Colorado, as we all know, tough to beat. I've talked to so many visiting players who Denver's their favorite road city or one of their favorites. Good swing by Blackmon, 1-1. Charlie out of Georgia Tech.
Last 2 fastballs, he's been right on top of. Once you get over the fact you're in the big leagues, you're going to play every day, and you start settling in, you start to see pitches, and you realize things aren't a whole lot different. Where the difference for me makes is the first 3 starters for most ball clubs and the plus side relievers in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. That's where you see a big difference, particularly 8th and 9th, when the opposition has a lead.
Blackman goes down swinging, just the 3rd time he has struck out since his arrival in the big leagues. So with 1 out, Spilborghs will take his turn. Spilborghs 0 for 2, a walk and a run scored in the 6th inning. Sliced into the crowd, foul. Oh, look out. Tulowitzki's in trouble. He tried to go early on Frieri. I think he had saw a pattern where Frieri
didn't look back. Came set.
Yeah.
One and just looked straight ahead, and that's when he took off. It's one look and go. He took off. They started yelling at him to get rid of the baseball, and he almost took too much time to do that. Forsythe applied the tag to get Tulowitzki.
2 outs. Wigginton left alone at first base. Oh man, that's Spilborghs. He turned into the pitch, and Ryan waving off Keith Duggar saying he's okay.
Let's take another look at this thing, because I mean, you're trying to, it didn't so much hand as it did right on the forearm.
So 2 outs. Wigginton to second. Spilborghs at first. Chris Iannetta will hear it from the crowd. His last at bat, a 3-run home run against Pat Neshek. They really opened this game up. Rockies trailed 3-2. 9 home runs, 28 driven in now for Iannetta.
Slider. Yep, underneath sidearm delivery slider that just stayed out over the plate, and that's strength, man. I tell you, Iannetta hit this about 15-20 rows up into the seats because it went up over the top of that walkway. Yeah, not a good night for Dexter Fowler and Ismael Rogers. Ismael 3 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs. They were all earned. A couple of walks, was pulled. Dexter 0 for 3 with a strikeout.
There are the numbers tonight down in Colorado Springs. Ismael was very good in his first outing. Jim Tracy pointed out yesterday with Dexter going down there. He said it's not a specific period of time. They want him naturally to get healthy again with the abdominal strain, but they want that swing on the left side to get healthy.
Right, and I love his quote. Who came up with the idea he wasn't going to switch hit anymore? Because he never heard anything about it. Who came up with that?
I have no idea.
It's like his quote in the paper goes, I have no idea where that came from. It was not my idea.
He's put in so much time. Tulowitzki gets that knee taken care of. He's put in so much time because he wasn't a switch hitter when he came out of high school. And with a speed guy, it's a big advantage. He remains, like most of us, a work in progress. We've seen him really good, and we've seen him struggle. Ball 4, and now the bases are loaded. And Seth Smith is in the on-deck circle. Did he just get called back? Yeah, he's getting called back.
3 walks and a hit batsman.
And
who's coming out? Brothers.
And Brothers is going to swing the bat with 2 outs. So Jim Tracy's saying, you know what, I'm going to go with the pitcher here. Instead of trying to expand a 4-run lead. He wants him to continue on. Maben and Hundley, the first 2 in the 8th inning. Well, this will be the first big league at bat for Rex Brothers. One strike pitch up coming to Brothers. And it's 0-2. He's lulling him to sleep, George. He wants one more heater, and he's going to hit it in the upper deck. Well, he got a swing to hit it in the upper deck. 6-2 cut. Ahead 6-2. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. 2 people will become millionaires in the July 1st bonus millionaire raffle drawing. Buy your tickets today. Now Rex Brothers, a bases loaded situation. Anthony Rizzo at the plate. Good looking rookie for the Padres. And he got him with a slider in the dirt. Got the Rockies out of that mess. And Brothers will face Cameron Maben to begin the 8th inning. If you're home, you're saying, boy, why didn't Jim Tracy send Seth Smith up there? Basically, Tracy's weighing the odds in that you have a 4-run lead. Sure, if Smith, hits one in the gap, you really expand the lead. However, with the bullpen struggles lately, he really wanted Brothers, already with a 4-run lead, to handle either the entire 8th or a good portion of the 8th inning. And it looks like the entire 8th, because nobody's in the Rockies bullpen getting loose. Ball 1 on Maben. Great crowd tonight on a Tuesday night, 35,045. That's a strike on Maben. No, it's not. Excuse me. It's called a ball. 2-0. The Astros and the Dodgers, the 2 highest ERAs out of the bullpen in the National League. The Rockies obviously have seen their bullpen ERA go up over the weekend. You know, right now the Rockies team ERA, George, is 3.87. The league average is 3.77. The Rockies right on that, league average. A year ago, they were at 4.14, and the league average was 4.02. So those numbers are similar.
Shoot, I remember when everybody was tickle pink if it was under 5
right
here at Coors Field. And
I used to say, if the Rockies could ever get their team ERA, the way they scored runs, under 4.5, they would win a boatload of games. And now the pitching has improved tremendously. Again, you look at numbers all the time. This game's so statistically driven at times. Swung on a miss, 3-2. And the numbers suggest that the Rockies should be on the flip side of 4 games under, should be more like 4 over right now, and still haven't hit their stride. So we'll see if that plays out.
Yeah, it's got to get busy because, I mean, to be quite honest, it's not early anymore. It's late. Jim Tracy had that idea. Talked about that today.
George, today's game 67. I mean, you're 14 shy of the midway point.
Well, then to only have 15 wins in your home ballpark. That's the other side of it. I know fans sounded as if they were upset with the fact Jim Tracy let Rex Brothers hit with the bases loaded and 2 outs with a 4-run lead. Not sure who's still available down in the bullpen either. If Betancourt typically would be the guy out pitching the top of the 8th inning right now, and he's not warming up at all with a 4-run lead. Pitched an inning last night and give up a run.
Maben drives it to left down the line into the corner, and Maben's going to have his second double of the ball game.
When you fall behind in the count, then one thing happens. You cannot utilize the hard slider, which is one of his patented pitches to get guys out with and strike out guys. That's what happened at Colorado Springs. This is just a repeated 3-2 fastball. Too much center cut of the plate. Maben made it pay for it. Or the ball jumps off his bat.
Nick Hundley 0 for 3.
Last night Bilal threw 2+ in the ball game. Lindstrom's already out of your bullpen.
Out of town scoreboard brought to you by Verizon. 4G LTE ruled the air on the most advanced 4G network in the world. Verlander, a no-hitter into the 8th, ends up not getting the no-no, but he picked off his 8th win of the year. Tampa Bay cooled off Boston. Boston had won 9 in a row. And the White Sox postponed at Target Field tonight. Justin Morneau went on the DL today. More bad news from Minnesota. Angels shutting out Seattle at Safeco in the 7th. Nationals beat the Cardinals. That's fouled off. Philadelphia got 5 home runs at Citizens Bank. They win 9-1. Mets win 4-3 in Atlanta. The Pirates are at 500. They beat Houston 1-0. Cubs over Milwaukee in 10. And that game's tightened up a little bit. It's now the Giants 6 and the Diamondbacks 4. Dodgers and Reds tied up. 1-2 on Hundley. Jorge Cantu's come out on deck. Pitcher spot next. That's strike 3 on Hundley. 95-mile-an-hour cheese.
He fouled off an earlier slider at 86 miles an hour, and so you know what? I'll just air it out, put it on the outer half of the plate. And that's exactly what he did for the strikeout.
So Cantu, with 1 out in the 8th inning, will pinch hit. And they were hoping for more production out of Cantu. Second straight year he struggled with that average. Career 274 hitter. Last year traded from Florida to Texas, George, and he hit just 235 in Texas.
And Texas was hoping to get a little more out of him when they traded for him. Didn't happen.
No, a home run and 2 RBIs after that trade. That's all. 1-1.
Left-hander Matt Reynolds is down throwing, and then Houston streaked the right-hander. So it tells me that you know, Mortensen you keep back as your long guy. Belisle 2 innings last night. Betcourt had pitched 2 out of the last 3 days. He's down. Lindstrom's already pitched. So this is why Rex Brothers had to hit. And this is why Rex Brothers stayed in the ball game.
Spilborghs is going to get there and foul ground. Maybe he'll tag up. 2 outs.
Hey, while you're traveling around, subscribe to MLB.tv to see every Rockies game on your computer and favorite device. That's right. Visit ColoradoRockies.com to order today. Tell you what's pretty neat. You hear about a catch from a week ago, and you go, I'm going to go back and watch that. You can go back, pull up games from week 10 to beginning of the season, and watch that ball game if you want to. Forsythe will get a look now at Rex Brothers. Struck out in his only at bat against Matt Lindstrom to lead off the 7th inning.
Pulled to third. Wigginton comes up with it and throws out Forsythe. Well, Wigginton taking some heat earlier in the week for a couple of miscues. Just made a sparkling play to keep it 6-2. the world's your workplace. The Rockies trailed 2-0 when they came to bat in the bottom of the 4th inning. The first 5 would reach, 3 runs would come around, and then in the 6th inning, the Rockies got a 3-run home run from Chris Iannetta. Juan Nicasio, a career best 9 strikeouts, or 5 more than his career best coming in. And after 6 innings, he was relieved. And the Rockies have a 6-2 lead as they come to bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning. With 35,000 pleased right now. Evan Scribner, who made his major league debut recently, on now for the 7th time this year. He's out of Central Connecticut State. And you know what? He has a distinction, George. He was a low minor leaguer when the Padres, he was with the Arizona Diamondback organization. The Padres traded Tony Clark for Evan Scribner, and Scribner, a 28th round pick, gets all the way to the big leagues.
Yeah, how about that? Well, obviously it's shown some things down at the minor league level. Maybe pitched not with a lot of competition. At first fastball offering at 91. His longest outing came May 7th versus Arizona. He threw 3 innings in that outing against Arizona. Retired 15 consecutive batters faced over his last 2 outings at home for San Diego. 16 straight over the last 3.
He's going to get Carlos here and fly ball to left. And that'll bring up Chris Nelson. Chris 1 for 3 and a walk in the ball game. Rockies 6 runs on 11 hits tonight. 2 runs, 9 hits for the Padres. One ball, 1 strike. You'd assume these two met during Pacific Coast League play. That's a strike also, 1 and 2. In the air to Maven in center field. The Rockies need 1 more run for the Rockies Taco Special. And if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Todd Helton tonight, 2 for 4, and the 2 times he made outs, it took outstanding defensive plays to produce those outs. In the first inning, a line drive snared by Ryan Ludwig in sliding fashion, and then a great play by by Logan Forsythe to Rod Todd his last time up. He dove up the middle, smothered a ground ball, and threw out Helton, who would have scored a run. Todd drove in his 30th with one of his base hits earlier. 1 and 2. Hilton is going to stand at the plate and say, come on, that's away, Dan Bellino. And it was away according to the Ford strike zone. We'll go to the 9th inning. Rockies up 4. Rockies are up 6-2 on the Padres. They've out-hit them 11-9. Coming up afterwards, you know the deal. It's the Toyota postgame show. Tom Helmer in the captain's seat again tonight. Tommy?
And we'll be talking about wonderful Juan Nicasio with a career-high 9 strikeouts. We'll break down his performance. Eye on the prize, Chris Iannetta with a big 3-run homer in the 6th inning. One of the difference makers in this ballgame. We'll talk about him as well. And we'll get you into the Rockies clubhouse here from the Rockies after the ballgame. Drew?
All right, Tom. We appreciate it. Thank you. And Houston Street, even though it's not a quote-unquote safe situation, will be asked to get the last 3 outs. 33rd appearance this year for Houston.
.352 earned run average, 18 and 21 opportunities and a save. That's the big key for me. Houston second now in the National League in save opportunities. Nunez number 1.
Kristen Orfia leading off.
I gotta correct myself. 19 of 21 in save opportunities, tied for the National League with Nunez.
And that's fouled off his foot. Street, a ton of opportunities, George, in April to get saves. Rockies 17 and 8 in April, and not so many in May.
No, there wasn't a lot of winning ball games in May. A little difficult for him to get that part of it down.
Yeah, everybody loves to beat up the closers in baseball. Doesn't matter what team you follow. I'm sure people say the same thing about Heath Bell, as great as he's been. Oh, there's traffic, that sort of thing. Street has the highest save percentage in Rockies history. Chris Iannetta, what happened on that one?
He got a foul ball right in the jaw. Yeah, that's what he got. Got it right on the end of the chin. Those are the kind Tyson used to like to hit you with, to put you on your knees and out. So many concussions now in the game of baseball for umpires and catchers. So dangerous. This is why managers, trainers are so careful as things like this happens.
Two-strike count on Denorfia. If you ever played football and you got hit in the side of the helmet and a jaw and the bell ringing, same thing right now for Chris Iannetta. 1-2. And swung on and missed. Denorfia is gone. 1 out in the 9th inning. You know, 2 punch outs for Rex Brothers. That followed up 9 punch outs by Nicasio, and now with that strikeout by Street, 12 punch outs tonight by the Rockies pitching staff.
Lindstrom had 1 in that 2/3 of an inning he worked. He was able to strike out Forsythe. So yeah, some big punch out nights for this pitching staff. And
actually, you're right. I forgot Lindstrom sets 13.
Yeah. So it has been a good night for the Rockies bullpen, and the starting pitcher Juan Nicasio. And again, I think the reason Brothers had to hit was because Bilal was down, Betancourt down, and Lindstrom had already been used in the ball game. Mortensen you have to keep for your long guy the next day. So basically they were down to 2 guys, and then for Street to pitch the 9th inning.
Well, you hope you get some length tomorrow. There's a good chance you will. It's a very good pitching matchup. Yolis Chacin, 7-4, the 2.90 ERA against Matt Latos. He's starting to turn things around after a tough start. Here's Yolis. Here's a 2-1 to Jason Bartlett. 2-2. Morrow again, an afternoon affair. Three and 2. Midway point in June already tomorrow, huh, George?
Yep. June 15th. Finish this series up. Detroit's in town. On to Cleveland, New York.
And a little comeback there. 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. More than 35,000 enjoying the proceedings. And they're standing now looking for out number 27. And they'll have to wait one hitter. Chase Headley with another base hit. Headley has 4 singles and 5 trips tonight. And on his first 3 singles, George, he's never moved to second base.
Yeah, well, call making some pitches, not letting him move around a little bit. He was aggressive against Houston Street.
We're getting ready to throw some of these Wins for Kids Rockies towels out of our window. We're going to make that a tradition after every Colorado Rockies victory. We'll send a dozen of them out to the fans below. That pitch a little bit high on Ryan Ludwig. Headley will move now to second. That does not count as a stolen base. We are always quick to point that out. Oh, here's our towels.
Yeah, getting ready to toss out. Drew, you need to work on the toss thing too, because
we were trying
the Cracker Jacks, you're not very good.
No, but we were trying to toss them out when they were, they just floated. So now this is a base hit also. It's going to drive in a run. We've now tied them in a knot, so we can get a little bit more.
So this is my first time to do this. So you and Jeff were trying to throw out towels not tied and thinking they would reach the bottom.
Well, they eventually did. They just floated down. Headley scores. It's 6-3, and Anthony Rizzo coming up.
You threw them out on Tuesday night, and they got down on Thursday afternoon.
Well,
come on now.
The little parachute.
Come on.
You
got to add a little knot and a little weight.
Well, I suggested to Doug that we tape them, but Doug came up with the knot.
Tape them.
So we'll try the knot thing. This is all new, George. So we'll go with the knot tonight, and if it doesn't float enough, we'll tape it. What do you think?
I still can't get where you, Jeff, trying to float them down. You can't even get a Cracker Jack barely out of the window. You're trying to get that out.
Literally, they would land like 4 feet in front of us.
I'm surprised you didn't knot them up, soak them in a can of water, and then toss them.
Remember when we used to throw what were we?
No, I never did.
The cookies?
I never.
You tried to hit the pitcher's mound one day?
I did hit the mound. Actually, it was home plate. See, that's why I don't. And I know.
Moving up again.
Managers at home and all that have contested and say, oh, you got to keep your defense wide, don't hold the guy on and all that. But by not doing that, you just cost yourself a run on that base hit.
I don't understand it when a right-handed batter's up. With a left-handed batter, I do understand with trying to get the last out. You want more range, so you have your first baseman play behind him. I get that. Here's the 1-strike pitch, and it's 0-2 on Rizzo.
Great changeup. Very good changeup. He struck out against Nicasio on a changeup.
Here's the 0-2 on Rizzo. 1-2. Maybe the show-me fastball, George, to set up that changeup.
They looked very poor on the changeup earlier, and that show-me fastball too much out of the zone. This young kid's showing a pretty good discipline with the strike zone. The Rockies fans fired up. A lot of fans have stayed here out of this 35,000 plus to see the closing bell on this ball game.
1-2. There is the closing bell. Street strikes out Rizzo, and the Rockies end the 3-game slide A convincing 6-3 victory over the Padres. Chris Iannetta, his typical very good job defensively, and he also added a 3-run home run tonight. Tonight's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. And Juan Nicasio gets his second big league victory against just one defeat. He went 6 innings, allowing 2 runs, and he struck out 9, which not only is a career high for Nicasio in his 4th big league start, it also matches the best strikeout total for a starting pitcher tonight for the Rockies. 6-3, the Rockies win it. Stick around. The Toyota postgame show is next from here at 20th and Blake.